that shit on me. 'Cause I still can't sleep without medication, and I let my thoughts run wild while I still think I got one, and I care too much about my reputation, and I'm tired of sleeping on this floor.
Hey everyone! I don't know why I do it like that. Every fucking podcast is like this super excited. Hey!
Girl.
I'm right here! No,
You're getting your radio voice on.
I can't. I gotta stop doing that. Hi everyone. This is
You gotta like get NPR about it.
yeah.
Hello everyone.
Hey everyone. It's time to get sexy on the night shift.
Dude, so I was grounded a bunch when I was a kid, and I didn't have like much music to pick from, and
Which is crazy because your mom's playing 4 different stations at one now.
Right, yeah. So like she's well, when I lived at my mom's house, I mostly was like upstairs, so I couldn't like hear anything going on. But I lived at my dad's a lot when I was a teenager, and there I had like no exposure to music, so I literally would just listen to the radio at nights, and it would always be like sappy ballads, and I fucking loved them. Yeah, like, and then like it. You can't really see it in my music, but like those songs, like "Come Sail Away" is like one of my favorite songs.
I'm weird too. Like when I'm depressed, I listen to more sad songs to pull myself out of my sadness. It's like it cancel each other out. Weird. I
bought this T-shirt off this lady whose name I'm totally blanking on, but you can find it on the internet. It says "Sad songs make me feel better."
Oh my god, I would wear that shirt.
Yeah, it's great. I bought it. I'm trying. I can't remember. Her name's Vanessa something, but I'm blanking on it. I'll send it your way or whatever.
So backtrack here quick. So if you listen to the intro music, it's brand new. Not brand new song, but brand new intro music, and it actually features this guy here, Tim.
That's me.
That's Churches and Trains.
Does it sound similar in my talk? I heard recently that your talking voice shouldn't be that much different from your singing voice.
Oh god, I hope not. Because if I try to sing when I go to bars, when, like a band's like, "Come on up," and I'm like, "All right, this is gonna be terrible."
Dude, over like loud music, it doesn't matter. Yeah, they can like barely hear it.
I just scream. I have a good time.
Me too. I always love doing backup vocals for any band. And I don't like when I say backup vocals, I mean like without them asking me to, I'll run up on stage and just sing.
It's kind of like
in the punk scene. That's fine, you know, and that's not that I consider myself like in the punk scene. I play an acoustic guitar and write sad songs.
Well, folk punk, we'll get in this, but anyway. So check out the links below. You can see all of Tim's stuff. His book link will be there, which we're going to talk about, as well as Churches and Trains. The coffee shop we'll probably put in there. Yeah, we'll do it all, and also our web pages are there, so you can check out the brand new created, not brand new because by the time this comes out, it'll be a little later, but the IwEP network page now on Facebook, and now each show has their own page, and then the network has, I don't know why I made it, but I think I did it just so I have it in case someone else tries to snatch it.
Yeah,
one of those deals. So yeah, you can check that out, and then you could follow Interviews with Everyday People on Facebook.
When you said each show, I thought you meant like each individual episode had its own like.
Could you imagine?
Oh my god,
it'd be a lot of work.
That would be hell.
Now each show doesn't have like their own Instagram or Twitter. It's all under the IwEP network moniker, except Tornado Tag. Has its own. I had the beer burps already. Has its own Twitter. Yeah, but that's the only one that does that because I don't run it. Somebody else does.
Sure,
like one
that's
of the
cool.
Yeah, like one of the guys in the show is like, "I'll do the Twitter page."
I listened to this one podcast and they had someone start a Twitter for them without like them asking, and they ended up like hiring the guy, and they still work with him like 5 years later.
Yeah, I have a fan page made by like a little girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she made an Interviews Everyday fan page, and her fan page I think has more people that follow it than the actual Interviews with Everyday People page. She's a sweetheart. Actually, she drew that little tornado tag thing back there.
That's cute.
Yeah, she drew me that.
Oh,
super sweet girl.
That's precious.
But yeah, you can check out all the links below. We do have a merch store. Brand new
with fairly priced merch.
Oh, very fairly priced.
Yeah, man. And it's like I was saying to you off air. We were still in front of the mic, so it feels weird. Like I haven't moved. But
we were in different chairs.
No, we hopped over. We're still in front of mics though. Yeah. But no, I was saying it's not about it. It doesn't matter how much it costs. It's about the fact that like you're doing something local and that it's awesome. Yeah, you know, like I say this with like pride. Like I have 2 shirts that have a design on them that aren't local.
Yeah.
Like one's a Tupac shirt and one's a Beastie Boys shirt.
I wish I could say the same. But,
Sure. But I like
But
that's
I do own
that's
a
a thing
lot
of pride
of
for me.
local, a lot of local shirts. But I also have a lot of pro wrestling shirts.
Sure. No, that's fine. Like but I say that as a person who like if I open this up, it's just more gray.
Yeah.
Like I don't wear logos, and that's I
If
don't
I'm
know
wearing
why,
a
really.
band shirt, and the only I think band that I have a shirt of that I own that is not a local band is Steel Panther. Every obviously like Crowbot, Look Alive, Mahantango, Apollo 88. Which I think I have the only shirt they've ever made. Like they made one shirt just for me, which is super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love those guys a lot. But yeah, if I'm wearing a band, 9 times out of 10 it's a local band shirt. I don't have any other ones.
So Austin from Montungo at their show at Strikers.
I don't have their new shirt.
No,
The one with the
the
street. Yeah,
That's really I like both of those designs are phenomenal.
And I think the Look Alive one that's black. I have the white one.
Yeah.
I look weird in white shirts. I'm way too fat to be wearing white.
Yeah, they're a skinny man's game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Can't
feel
be wearing that.
So it's fine.
I was on cam wearing it one time, and I was just, the whole time editing, I'm like, you are a fat fuck wearing that goddamn shirt.
Well, what are you gonna do? Oh, but what I was gonna say is Austin. He was wearing my new shirt at the show, and it just like it fills me with such like I'm so humbled by it and so grateful. Like, because I mean, he shares like my shit on his Instagram stories and stuff, and I'm like, I have this. I think we might have talked about this last time. Like we did an interview that I just don't believe anything I do is good.
Yeah.
And so when I see people like
Same here.
him, so when I see him do something like that, I'm just like, well, shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm confronted with this problem of like maybe, and it's good because it's a motivator to be like, you know what, people think your shit's good, act like it, you know,
Yeah.
and like continue to make quality things, you know,
Yeah.
continue to give them more of the same but better. And
How I kind of stumbled across your music, and I think we talked about this a little bit, is like, so when I start listening, I'm like, man, I really like Montungo. I really like Look Alive. So I'm interested to see what they're into. And then we went to a show at Strikers, and they like people were going nuts for your performance, but it was like all the local scene was like they were singing along, and I was like, if they're in my eyes this talented, and they're also probably like they weren't even like being like fans. They were like they respected you. Like it was more than just a fan thing. It was like I truly genuinely like what he's doing.
I'm
and like
30, so I'm their elder.
yeah, I hear you. I'm usually the old guy too. I'm like, hey kids, I'm 33 at your show. I like punk rock.
Yeah, remember pop punk's fun.
Did I ever tell you what I did with Mahantango when I went to their show that they did in some kid's like parents' driveway? Oh my god! So I went up with Tyler from Bad Maggie, and Tyler was filling in because Austin was at college, or he was away doing like this thing. So I went to help Tyler set up and like get his stuff in and out, and then Tyler was setting up, playing, and leaving and doing a Bad Maggie show. So I show up at this fucking house, and it's like this kid's house in like Wilkes-Barre, Kingston. I don't remember where we were. And I'm 32 years old, and everyone's like early 20s. And I'm just like, oh, fuck me. Like, and everyone's looking like, who's this old guy?
at the punk rock show.
Yeah.
I played a house show, some kid's attic, where the audience and it was me and Tyler and maybe Ted. Sorry, Ted, if you were there and I forgot. I think he was. But so it was probably us and then 2 other acts. And the 2 other acts and everyone in the audience was between the age of 18 and 16. And this is all like Tyler and Ted are older than me. And I was probably 28 at the time. And I'm just like, what is this? Where like they were all like college kids or something, like on the way to like they knew each other from high school and were going to college or whatever. And yeah, it was just a weird one. It was in Bloomsburg. Like I drove up all the way for that, it was great. Like one of the guys is, I had him play at I don't know the full story, so I don't want to botch it, but he went off to India to like on a spiritual quest and all that stuff. So he ended up being pretty cool on I did the same thing. So.
Yeah. I was at a party one time, not recently. I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I think I was just turning 30, or I was 30, and I was at some house party, and this girl's talking to me. And at the time, I was just like, listen, I don't see like opposite sex, so I don't sometimes know when I'm being flirted with because I'm just friendly and I talk to people. And I think,
and you're also married,
and I'm married, obviously, so that doesn't play in. Like if a girl's flirting me, I don't know how to play it off, right? Because I don't want to be like, excuse me, honey, married, and then they do the whole like, well, I wasn't fucking hitting on, like, you know, so I don't even like, I just like, okay.
You know what I do?
What?
Just like casually just drop, like,
I do.
Is that what you do?
Oh my god, yeah, like I'm like, oh my god, my wife loves the same thing, and then
they're
like,
I love it. I love saying it because I'm just like, fuck you.
Yeah, I do the Bert Kreischer. I want you to be my wife.
Yeah. Well, I also like I don't get hit on ever, so that's like it's. Not
I probably
a thing,
don't either, but I was drunk. But she just kept talking to me, and then I was like, yeah, when did you like graduate, or like how old are you? And she goes, oh, it was a house party too. And she's like, oh, I'm 18. And she's like holding a beer. And I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. And I went to my friend. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, what? I'm like, she's fucking 18. He's like, yeah. And I was like, how old is most of this party? He goes, I don't know, probably that age. I'm like, you're fucking 30, bro. And I left. I was like, I'm out of here. I got my car. I drove away. I was like, oh
my gosh.
It's like pouring bleach in my eyes.
Dude, Tyler and I played this show on tour this past summer. It was at a house show in Rochester, and we got on it last minute. Like the show didn't exist prior to that day. Like a bunch of other acts, as far as I can remember, a bunch of other acts said that their shows dropped, and so they need a new place, and they all knew of like this punk house up in Rochester.
House.
So like we went there. Dude, there was I don't want to like throw anybody under the bus. People were definitely on coke. A dude was like openly on LSD, and I had taken a bunch of edibles. So it was like a crazy night. But it was like one of the best shows of my life. Like it was so much fun. We just played this basement. It was like me and Tyler on tour, and we knew a lot of these guys. They like were good friends of the people who own the house. I've had them down here, and they play at the Monkey and whatnot. But yeah, it was I love house shows. Like any musician, if you're like an up and coming, like want to be a musician, do house shows. Like it seems like it's lame, like, but that's where you get like things like people singing your songs or showing you respect. Is because like they're not just seeing you as the guy that's trying to play on the stage. You're the guy who's, listen, I just love fucking playing music, you know? Like, I'll sit around, and this is like one of my favorite things about being in the scene that I'm in, is like even when no one comes to the shows, I'm still just hanging out with my best friends and like playing songs, and I love them. And obviously, like when people come to the show, it's only a better experience for everybody because, you know, we're pumped to have a crowd, and we're just, you know, a good musician will feed off of that energy and give it back to you, you know.
I just love going to shows because, like, especially in this area, like, oh, what are you doing this Saturday? Like, oh, I'm going to see this band. Like, you've seen this band 40 times. I'm like, man, because the people who go there, like, you become friends with the crowd, and you're like, I don't even drink when I go to these shows because I don't want to drink and drive, and like, because people assume that I do like beer, and I go to these shows all the time, that I go to these shows and I'm getting hammered. 9 times out of 10 I'm not drinking unless Heidi's with me, and she never comes out of the house. So I'm mostly always
I've seen
sober.
her out at Hucklebucks, and
which is she had a great time, but the smoke
it gets me too. I've
by the end of the night I'm like this. I'm like, I can't see anything. That was a good night too.
I was gonna say something about my girlfriend, she had a friend who was originally from the area, moved out to Montana. He was back in the area, and first they came to the coffee shop, and I was working, and he asked me, he's like, so what's a cool place to go around here? And I'm like, this might be it. I mean, there's other like great places. So then like they were hanging out later, and I'm like, oh shit, like there was that show at Strikers, and I'm like, I'm taking you to this because this is like genuinely what I think this area has like the best offers. A great music scene.
It does.
Like just so many super talented people. Like I can never. It's just always a blast to go to these shows and to just be a part of it.
Yeah,
You know,
I have such a good time. The bands are so fun. Like, they're just fun bands. Just like I said,
you don't have anyone who takes themselves super seriously, but they take themselves seriously enough.
Yeah,
which is a good place to be. But God, I wish more people were into like coming to. We don't really get that great of a turnout sometimes at like our folk punky shows or like the barn. The barn gets decent ones, but I just wish more people came out to those because more people go out to like full band stuff because they're usually they're both at bars, but full band like that's why the coffee shop does decently when it has shows is because it's a coffee shop and you're expecting a dude with an acoustic to be sad in the corner,
mustache.
Right? The sweet mustache. Shout out to Beelzebub and the Screaming Demons. But not that we don't do well in these bars or whatever, but I think people usually just expect full bands.
A lot of times you got to piggyback and open, like be the opening guy,
dude. Which I don't mind at all. Like I mean, it's awkward for me to the degree of which it's awkward for the audience. So it's like I've opened for punk shows and like I remember I fucking pulled a wool over everyone's eyes because I'm like I'm gonna play a protest song and I ended up playing "This Land Is Your Land" by Woody Guthrie, which is a protest song. But like it was so funny because no one was paying attention to me, and when the second I said that, they all just like turned and like looked at me.
Yeah.
And so it was just you just got to know your audience.
This
and
song
whatnot.
is called "Fuck the Establishment."
Yeah, and it's
This land is
your
your
land. I love that song. It's I love Woody Guthrie. I love Bob. I mean, Bob Dylan was like birthed out of Woody Guthrie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard this song, but there's a song called "Song to Woody" or something like that, and it's by Bob Dylan.
Really?
It's one of the first originals he ever wrote, and it's like heartbreaking because you like here's a man looking up to his idol, you know, and it's like here's just like because obviously the things that you see in people that you admire is the things that you want to bring out in yourself. That's why you see them, you know, and that's why So when Bob Dylan looks at Woody Guthrie, you can see, and he starts singing about like all these anthems or these themes or whatever. You can see it inside of that what he hopes to give to the world, and he far surpassed Woody Guthrie in mainstream popularity. Yeah,
folk punk is something that I didn't even know was a thing, really, until you and then the coffee shop, and then I was telling Tyler, I said it reminds me of like grown-up punk music.
Yeah, so folk punk is a crazy term, and like because so here's what I would say: most folk punk acts wouldn't consider me folk punk, but they would consider me folk punk because I run in this circle with a bunch of folk punk kids.
I think if you put a twang to your voice and change the tuning of your guitar, you would like the style of your song would be old school country.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, and I want that. Like that's where I go for. The thing with folk punk is the most cliche folk punk person you can think of is a guy named Pat the Bunny. He played in he did this thing called Johnny Hobo in the Freight Trains or something like that, and another thing that was called Ramshackle Glory, and that was with a bunch of other like folk punk artists, and that's like what like the kids who are like know what true folk punk is will be like, those are the holy texts, like those are the books that like set up everything. But then like true folk punk kids will be like, no, fuck that, you know, like it's like any genre. Like you have punk music, early punk is like, yeah, Green Day, and like now punk is like, no, fuck that, like I don't want anything to do with Green Day. You know,
it's interesting too because like listening to your music, like I said, I've been listening. It's in my car. I've been listening to it. And I don't really know much of your past. I don't know much, like, except what we talked about, and a lot of it was based on like you were super religious. You were a man of God, the Lord. Sure. And then you listen to your music, and it's like I was drinking and driving one night, and just it's a lot of heartbreak and booze and maybe some other things, and just not mentally being as stable as you know. But the crazy thing is, like, me knowing you now, you're very strong mentally, or at least that's what you're putting out there.
Sure.
You do have a very strong grip of yourself and your surroundings and the people you surround yourself with. but that's not really your music. Like you can, I don't know how much of it is derived from other story or if it's derived from your past and you've changed since then. But there is definitely feeling and emotion in your music that maybe is not what you're doing now.
Presenting or
Yes.
something. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that. I'll say that, and that's where I go to bleed.
Yeah.
I don't write happy songs because they just sound like bullshit to me. Because no one's happy. People have increments of happiness, but people have good lives, and I have a phenomenal life, and I'm very happy. But depression just seems like the sadness seems so much more real, and it's and it's so much more bonding, and it's because it's easy to have like mutual heartbreak as opposed to mutual success, you know. So it's just easier, and like when I moved back from Taiwan, I wasn't everything you just said that I currently am. Yeah. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't very stable. I drank a lot.
Sleeping on couches and sleeping on floors.
And that's,
traveling.
And that's, some of those things I've taken into my life now and like made them more healthier.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's such a yearning in me to be free, and I just need to, wherever I'm at in life, I need to know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I need to know what a healthy balance of that looks like. And I think every person in life needs a time where they look, like you said, coming from a religious background of like having the rules and doing this and doing that. And you need to rebel against it so you can really know who you are underneath all that bullshit. And I found my philosophy was you can do whatever you want, you know, because if there is no God, and I'm not making that argument that if there's a God you can't do whatever you want, because I do believe there's a God, and I still believe you can do whatever you want. But obviously
he died for something. You got to make it at least count.
Well, right. That's John Calvin has that quote, "Sin boldly."
Yeah.
But it's not even that, man. It's just like
when you present yourself and you see you, obviously someone behind closed doors and someone in the public eye are two different things. I can relate to that.
Sure.
You're always someone who's very positive. You're very smiley. You're quick to be like, hey man, it's gonna be okay. Like, hey, you're doing a good thing, or hey, maybe you should adjust. A lot of people go to you for that advice. Like, you know what I mean? Especially in the music scene. I think because you've not many people would fucking walk away from their friends, family, and just Schuylkill County in general. And a lot of it's not even like a, how can I say, like this area thing, because a lot of people think it is like, oh man, you just can't get away from this area. It literally that's something that happens wherever you're born. Wherever you are born and you are raised, it's hard to release yourself from that bubble.
Right, and there's always some other mecca.
Yes.
You know, like there's some place that you can't like out. You know, that
and
you
for the
need to
people
get to.
who do that. And you did it. You went to a different country where you don't even speak their language. Changed your whole way of process, and then coming back, and then traveling and going to like Oregon. Like, listen to the other interview if you want to catch up. But the quality's not as great as now, but bear with it. But so you just to explore that. I think a lot of people who, because you're like, we both resort like we're older than our crowds. But I think a lot of people respect that, and you're like, yo, like he's not fucking around. Like he's legit went through it, and he's traveled, he's experienced, and you are more positive now. But you're not shying away from what you were.
Right. Well, because I'm not ashamed of that, and I think, I don't know. I mean,
there's things I've done that I'm like, man, I was a fucking prick.
Well, right, absolutely. Okay, so there are things to be ashamed of.
I wouldn't, like, and this maybe sound fucked up because there is people I probably have hurt and done shitty things to, but
Me too. I wasn't saying that to you. Like,
but I wouldn't.
Definitely have.
And this is not saying that. Yeah, listen, I wish I didn't do that to those people, but I wouldn't change it now, knowing, because it made me a better person.
And also, I'm sorry if that burp got picked up.
It happens.
But
burps happen.
It's a part of, and that's not justifying anything, but everything that's happened to me is a part of my story, and it's made me who I am, and everything that I've done to another person. And here I go quoting the Bible, but this is why I'm as positive I am, because I genuinely do believe this. But there's a quote in Genesis that says, what man meant for evil, God meant for good. And I hold on to that. Just, you don't need to believe that. That's absolutely fine. I'm talking to everybody.
Yeah.
But for me,
it's a great quote.
It's a beautiful idea of the fact that the shit that's been done to me and the shit that I'll do to other people will someday, and people hear the word God and they think this man, but that the cosmic scales will balance out, and that my wrongs will be righted and I will be forgiven of my trespasses, and it's, and yeah, because I that just fills me with great hope. I was talking to somebody about that today at the coffee shop of like, it's the biggest relief. Obviously, it doesn't expel you of like responsibility of like sometimes you do need to go own up to what you do.
100%.
But it's nice to know that the shit that slipped through the cracks is going to, and I'm not saying even in this lifetime, because it's, I don't understand what's happening here. Yeah. And nobody does.
No, and we're all figuring it out.
Right. So, but I'd like to believe that the universe doesn't waste energy, that the outflow of time and space it's doing whatever it is. It's just a river flowing downstream, and you just kind of got to ride it, baby.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing is too, is if you are someone who's listening to this, if you are someone who maybe is younger, or you may not be older, maybe you're an older person, or older in your days, it's not too late either. If you're physically breathing, there's time to change. Right. It's not going to be fucking easy, but you gotta do it. And maybe, and here's the thing that I've learned too, is not every single person that you've done wrong to is going to forgive you. And you kind of gotta swallow that pill. But if you make physical change and positive change, be that light in darkness, as I say, people around will notice. And it may not happen over time, but even maybe the people you've wronged will be like, you know what? Like, I see a physical change in them. Because you do. Like, if you're, it sounds super corny, but like being someone who just dwelled in darkness and lived in darkness and just thought darkness, and I started turning more lights on, as you would say, you can see other people's light. It sounds super weird to say that.
Well, that's why you and I get along so well, because it's you
can see genuine people,
right? It's the idea that, because I can see this in the coffee shop, man.
Yeah,
like people who are like clearly are just letting life kind of just go by, and they're just going through the motions. And then there's people that come in. There's people that go toward that, either life happens to them or they go and live. It's either they're just kind of falling into the current and just being like, I know I just said you got to ride it down, but you need to be conscious of it. You need to be paying attention. And I don't know. I wish I could go back to when I was anywhere from the age of 17 to 21 and just understand my perspective on the world and just be like, boy, were you so wrong. And
you're so angry.
And I was caught, but I was sad. Well, which is...
I was sad, and it turned into anger.
Yeah.
I had a chip in my shoulder.
I think so I always say that I'm angry, but it never really expresses itself. And because I'm a pacifist, like I don't believe in the violence, let's say that.
I'm not either. Back in the day, 100%. I loved it.
But I need to make sure that I'm dealing with the things that make me angry, even on a subconscious level, and being like, because and again, you need to pay attention. Like, you can see when you're about to say something stupid. Yeah. Like, you can see when you're like, and I can see it, and I still fuck up. Like, I'll see myself like, don't say this to your girlfriend, because you know the tone that it's saying, the day that she had, like, you're 1 + 1 = 2. You're not an idiot, And then I'll be like, and then the second it passes my lips, I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah. You're like, I'm sorry. It's hard to rewire this brain. I'm trying. It takes time. Dude, I do it all the time with Heidi. Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
The most admirable thing is, like you were saying, is the stride uphill. Like, as long as you see people doing that, then like you got to be able to forgive them, because we've all made mistakes. And I think we talked about the idea on the last time I was on, the idea of redemption is like, you can't live without redemption. Yeah. And I mean, one of my favorite Gregory Alan Isakov songs, besides the one that I took Churches and Trains from, was a song called Second Chances. And the refrain of the song is, without second chances, we'd all be alone. Mm-hmm. And it's absolutely fucking true.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, did you, this is completely off topic, but still kind of on topic. Did you see the new Joker movie yet?
Mm-hmm. I got a migraine afterwards and almost threw up on the ride home.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know if that was related to the movie, but it happened. It was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, I'm so conflicted in it, though.
Well, like, do you mean from the sense of, like, are we supposed to show empathy to this man?
Kind of. All right, so listen, like, kind of like we just talked about our past a little bit. I was, like... the beauty, not the beauty, because it's not a good thing, and I don't want to sound like I'm being sympathetic to people who go out of the way to hurt people. Like, I'm not spoiling anything by saying the movie, but
well, it's also like out on DVD, so
we know the Joker's not a good person.
Right? He's not supposed to be.
Yes, he's not. He's an evil fucking creature. But every single human who has walked the face of this earth is always one day away from being the Joker. It really is. And I probably said this quote 100 times in different interviews or not cool in high school, but it's this is why I obsess with the Batman universe. I love it because it literally takes two main protagonists, or it could be any villain, insert any villain, but obviously the Joker is your main one. You take a guy who just the world has spit on, shit on, rejected, had mental health issues, and you're like, okay, I can justify why he does what he does, and then that's where it's like not good.
See, but
you don't justify that.
That's where the argument is to be made that that's not really the Joker, because the Joker is just a sociopath.
Well, they're kind of putting it off as the Joker's more of an idea than a person.
Yeah, I think. See, the problem is like the Joker origin is supposed to be ambiguous. So,
well, they do that in the movie. Yeah, they gave him one origin in the comic, and it was the Killing Joke, and it was very.
But even the Killing Joke is left pretty ambiguous. Like towards the end of just like, well, because he has that quote from the Killing. I think it's from the Killing Joke. If I'm going to have an origin, I prefer it to be multiple choice. Yeah, which is great for him. I think. See, this is where I think culturally we really fuck ourselves because we don't believe in redemption as a culture. We do if it's people that are in our immediate circle. Right. And that's exactly right. If they're not in your immediate circle, then fuck them, they should burn. Right. And that's why I always tell people, I'm like, be careful when you say that, because that can, and when I say this, I don't mean that I want someone in your family or someone you care about to do it, but going back to the Joker, I don't condone what he did, but I think if more people just put their hand out and just like, yo, man, you're going through some things. Do you want to talk about it? Right. Like, it helps. Like, he even said in the movie, he's like, if I would have just got a hug, you know what I mean? Like, like society, we just, like, De Niro's character as the talk show host was just there and had a platform to do good things, but was only there to fuck with him and make fun of him. Right. And TV does that shit all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't watch American Idol because I was kicked out of my first band at the age of like 15 or something like that for not being able to sing well. Yeah. And so I'm like, I know what this feels like. So it's fucking sucks to be. Everyone thinks you should be amazing your first time out. Yeah, or this is all I want to do. I think about it. I sing in front of the mirror. Me too. I just I'm not good. Oh my god. I wonder what that is, because everyone does it. Sings in front of the mirror. Like the idea sing all day long. But I wonder why the mirror, because it's a self-reflection. I don't do it in the mirror. Okay. I don't want to look at myself when I do it. No, I don't do it now. But like when I was a kid, like I feel like this was a pretty common phenomenon of people singing into the mirror at themselves. And I always wonder, like, what's the psychology behind that? Because is it just like you're seeing yourself like at your full fucking potential of like, look how fucking I'm just nailing this. And your mom's in the next room and she's like, this is awful. Everything sounds amazing until you hear your own voice on a PA system. Oh my god. It scares the fuck out of me. Like when I do karaoke, I have to be fucked up. I can't do karaoke. I can't sing well without a guitar. I can't sing well with a guitar. I feel so much insecure. Like if there's a band behind you, you feel better. Or instruments. Like I've sang with bands and it probably wasn't good, but in my head I'm like, we fucking killed it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, because you're just mixing into the whole thing. Karaoke's too removed. Yeah. So like if you put me in front of confidence. If you put me in front of 50 people and was like play a set, no problem whatsoever. Yeah. put me in front of 10 people and say sing karaoke, I'll shit bricks. I hate it. Because
I still shit bricks when I get up in front of people.
It's so easy to just fucking play a guitar and just be
No, it's
like,
not.
just like, and be like, just focus on this, you know, like just do this. And it's to me, it feels very like relaxing and just like calm the fuck down.
Yep.
You know.
So anyway, going back to the Joker. So obviously, remove the mental health thing because that was something for the movie, but where life kicks you, you can you can take two paths. You can be like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking kick back, or you can be like, man, once again, I'm gonna be that light who changes things, and that's why like I'm obsessed with the idea of Batman. Yes, he goes out and he advocates violence, but he's legit like, I need to make a change somehow, and that's his change.
Right. In the universe, he's the model for change.
Yes.
Right.
So like when I watched the movie, I was like, listen, man, like this movie should do one or two things. If you hated the movie, I heard a lot of people didn't like it. They're like, no, man, that's too real. This is a dangerous movie. The reason it could be a dangerous movie is because you're the person who steps over the guy who needs help.
Well, then don't be that fucking person.
Exactly. Treat each other better.
See how it's like, yeah, I know. Like
and then I'm the person who has been on the ground and watch people step over me, and I could have easily been that person. But that person also needs to be self-aware, unless they have really bad mental health issues where they still do need help from other people who don't. We need to reach out to each other. People like, you don't just fucking step over that person who needs they're struggling, like,
right. And
you know that person. They could be in your family, they could be your best friends, like, and then all of a sudden they're on the news and 13 people are dead, or like 10 or any person's dead because we didn't. And they're like, man, he was every school shooting, right? They go and they interview the people in the classroom, and what 90% of them are like, yeah, he was weird in school.
Yeah.
And that,
well, they're kids. Like that's the problem with kids is that, and like, fucking God bless teachers, man. Like, imagine they're getting super underpaid. They're working 60, 70 hours a week, and then they have to fucking like hope that some kids' parents do their fucking job and take care of these kids so they don't have to come to school and shoot everybody, you know, or like that the kids aren't. If the kids are being raised, wow, this is me being fucking old as shit, but if the kids are being raised properly, then their ecosystems are going to behave properly as well, you know, like, and that's just common sense. But it's, I don't know, it's that area is so like just this. How do you get a bunch of hormone-ridden teenagers from shitty homes together in a room and try to teach them about anything? Fuck that. That sounds like the worst. Like, that would be like, if you could pick like a list of things to do, that would be up there as one of the worst things. You know what's crazy? But it's incredibly, I'll say this, it's incredibly admirable, the people that do it. Yeah. I love teaching, but god damn, that's hard. I think honestly, this may sound super strange, and this is just my way of thinking, and I could be completely wrong, and if I am, obviously put it in the comments. But as soon as something bad happens, the first thing we blame are movies, television, and video games. Right. Which is stupid. But movie, television, and video games are just an outward look of what is already going on in the world. So they're going to see it regardless if they see it on a movie, TV show, video game. Yeah, they may, like someone who has mental problems could idolize a movie or TV or video games and be like, this is okay. Maybe use those lessons. Like, honestly, movie theory is literally an idea of what is going on in social standards. Like, there's two movies, and The Joker could be one of them now, that you like literally, and I know it has bad words and there's blood and there's violence, but the world's not pretty. And the more we shelter people than we think it is where, you know, you're just as naive and blind to it. Imagine like you were a kid and you watched The Joker, or you watched, like, for me, The Breakfast Club. Because every single person in life can be represented on that movie. Right. And you're like, this is when people who are from different social statuses, different backgrounds, different beliefs, different everything, have to sit in a room by themselves for 12 hours. Right. And make common ground. And they do. Did they do it with drugs? Sure. Did they do it by kind of causing mischief? 100%. But they found a way to bond. Right. But in a non-destructive way. Right. And that's kind of the... Yeah, I mean, that's... Another real social experiment there. I always said, like, what would be Breakfast Club 2? Because when they go back, because it was even brought up, like, when we go back to school on Monday, are we going to be friends? And she literally looks at him and goes, no. Yep. Yeah. And one thing I don't buy from the Breakfast Club is that the jock ends up with that one girl.
She was hot as fuck at the end.
She was hot as fuck through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I'm into. Yeah, so would you be probably?
Yeah,
goth
same
girls.
here. Yeah.
Big titty. What the?
Listen, you see
Big titty goth girls. That's the thing.
Listen, if emo girls came back, I'd be in trouble.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, emo girls are fucking awesome.
But I mean, those are just movies at the time. You know, it's like you fall in love. The first time I hung out with my current girlfriend, I'm like, fuck, I could do this for forever. You know?
But even that girl where she kind of changed her outward appearance, that wasn't her. It still wasn't her personality.
Well, that's what I was going to say is like, did he like the change, or did he have a,
he looked through it a little bit?
Did he have a rock hard
he was thinking
erection like the whole time? And just like, cause she was beautiful who she was.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like, why did she have to change? And that's how old's that movie?
Yeah.
You know,
it's fucking timeless though.
It is really good. Except there's like a weird like upskirt shot
of a 13-year-old girl.
Is she supposed to be? She's not supposed to be 13.
She's not, but she was in the movie.
No, she's not.
Yes.
No way.
They were all in their 20s, and Molly Ringwald was like 14, 15 shooting that movie.
Yeah.
See,
I used to talk about this.
She was very young shooting that movie.
I used to talk to one of my roommates about this, about how America absolutely condemns pedophilia, yet makes millions of dollars off of it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like actual child pornography. I mean major fucking motion pictures.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a lot of pedophilia in music.
Well, yeah, Tyler and I talked about this, that there used to be a song that was like called "She's Only 17," and it was supposed to be like, oh, she's 17, she's getting old.
The Beatles.
Like, well, yeah,
she was just 17.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And I mean, you can't. And so, I mean, what do you do with redemption there? You know,
yeah.
Or even like the fact that pedophilia is technically a mental disorder. So,
but
like,
if you say that, you're fucking condoning it. You're an asshole,
right? And which I'm not. Like,
yeah,
I am not. But it's.
But you realize that there's
is,
something psychologically wrong there,
right?
Like for me, I might have said this, I have said this on different things before. Back in the day, obviously, and it's still not good, but to kill someone is like.
That's just how you got by.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing to kill people. And for the longest time, if you killed people, you were immediately killed, and that was the end of it. Pedophilia, not so much, because pedophilia didn't become bad until much later in culture, because if you go back in time, it was kind of a thing.
Right.
It's not good, but
right.
That's something that has changed over time, because you realize that that kids being innocent needs to be something that, you know, and times do change.
Right.
But you have to realize too, the human brain and regardless of what you're thinking, there is a thing of evolution. Like evolution is a thing. Maybe you're not coming like maybe
progression.
You don't, maybe you don't think of coming from monkeys as a thing. But if you look at people and the way ideals and and the way your just brain is operated from now till then, you don't think that slips through the cracks every here and now. I mean, right. it can. Which once again, I'm not condoning pedophilia. I just think. We got to the point where we were so obsessed with serial killers and people who do wrong. We started psychologically looking into and studying people who kill and hurt other people. But as soon as the idea of pedophilia comes, you're like, yo, we should kill them, castrate them, lock them up away, and just leave them for who they are. Yeah. Well, we don't look into it. It's not something that's studied. It's not something to find out, like, well, what happened here?
Right.
It has a little bit.
I mean, what is it? Like 90+% of...
are people who were abused themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's literally like, potentially it's all you know. Of just like, well, maybe this is like... the theory,
The
subconsciously,
theory
obviously.
is, and to say it hasn't
this
not
is a
been,
weird
yeah,
to go
no,
on,
but it's good conversation.
It's good.
But to say that it hasn't been studied is wrong as well. But it's not every time someone goes to study. I think it was brought up again in the news not too long ago, where like this should be something we look into, and people were like, "Fuck that! They should just be killed. Why look into it?"
Well, I think there's a difference between saying like we should research this, we should study this, as opposed to we can condone this. That's a completely different thing.
Yeah, it's definitely. You know? I'm not condoning it whatsoever. But
it's like the same thing with like they do acid at Johns Hopkins, like they do acid and
microdosing mushrooms.
Right. So they do all these like research things that aren't technically legal, and seeing why is it happening? Why do people?
Yeah.
Like what is happening here? And there's like. Yeah, when it comes to pedophilia, there's like not a whole lot of like how do you get healed other than you need to be like putting that, like, I have no idea.
One of the things that I've read in a study, and this is obviously just, it hasn't been looked into much, is like someone who was a pedophile. They said the moment that they were abused as a kid, something in their brain never let them evolve from that moment. Like, they always physically thought they were the same age, and if it was like one of those weird things where I had to do it again to save myself, it was a little weird.
Yeah.
And that could have been just a mentally ill person, and that's the way their brain, like, because everyone has a different case. Like, there's never the same two snowflakes, I guess you could say. Like, every snowflake has a different view.
That's so funny that you say that, because there's a part of me, when it was snowing the other day, I was like, that's bullshit. Like, what I mean is, like, throughout, from the dawn of snow to current day, that there hasn't been one identical snowflake. Scientists can fucking blow me. How
you just haven't gotten into data.
Well, right, and like, so they say, like, the odds of getting struck by a lightning bolt are this high, but yet people get struck all the time. Like, we live in a universe where shit that isn't supposed to happens, not just happens, but happens at an exponential rate.
Yeah.
The universe itself shouldn't be. There's no explanation. We're just fucking here.
We're in the Matrix.
Well, we can talk about simulation theory at some point, because I've never heard a good definition or argument for it.
Have you ever seen the video where the guy, I don't know how true it is, it's obviously a video in a language I don't understand, but this guy goes into the store, comes back out, and there's a tree through his car.
What's the format of the video?
It's just like on his phone, and he's like literally showing his car, and there's a tree like through the bottom, like it's in the concrete. And they're like, it's a glitch in the Matrix. Like, the tree wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, but the fact that he was recording, like,
if you came out and there was a tree in your car, would you record it?
Yeah, but did he record? But did he record? I would.
Yeah.
But did he? The way that I thought you meant was that he was recording from the time he got out of his car.
No, he came back out of the store, and he's like, there's a fucking tree going straight through the middle of my car.
Then, yeah, I don't know. Then maybe. Because the world's fucking insane, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I believe in God, so I'm dumb enough to believe in anything.
Maybe he just had a sense of humor that day.
I mean, God's a trickster. I actually was thinking about this.
I'm going to put the tree in this guy's car.
Dude, I was thinking about this earlier, and I had the thought, I'm like, the motif of trickster is the most put upon title upon God that we don't realize that we're doing.
He's Loki.
Yeah, because he's the asshole. You know, he's the one that's kind of like, hey, here's this, you know, like, and that's how
your kid has leukemia.
Yeah, like, and that's how
it's not
like
funny, but
no, but that's how
one of my arguments to read the God thing.
Right. Well, yeah, that's that's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm thinking about kids with leukemia. No, like the idea of just, I mean, because reality plays tricks on you, and you think it's one way, and then you like, and sometimes it's super shitty. Sometimes it's, I have a kid and he has leukemia. Sometimes it's a little bit more lighthearted. Is like, you thought this thing was going to go.
While you're pulling, you can keep talking. I'm just going to try to find it.
No problem. Just, I don't know. There's something to be said about, I wonder about the motif of like the jester or the trickster, or like someone who's in a position of authority but is kind of like a conniving bastard, you know? And I don't know. I just wonder why that motif exists in our zeitgeist, in our society, or whatever that is.
So this guy goes into the store, comes back out, and this is his car.
That's insane.
So this is gonna be weird. Like, it's straight through his driver's side door.
That's insane. Yeah,
like, it's a big fucking tree too. If you want to look it up, just look up tree and car glitch in Matrix. It goes right through his seat.
Yeah, that's insane.
Watch when he's obviously in a parking spot. And people are like, "What is?" Like, they're so confused.
That's insane.
Watch when they go. Obviously, the guy filming is probably not the same guy, but he goes around and he like goes to the other side of the car. The metal's all bent.
That's insane.
Look at the cushion's fucked up. Oh, I probably just right at that point. He goes. I think he goes down under the car, and you can see it come right through the concrete.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane. Oh,
come on, give us the money shot. That's what we want.
I guess my thing with the Matrix is
I don't believe it, but
sure.
I seen that video. I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. But even this idea of simulation theory, it's what I would say to someone. I don't know if do you believe in?
No.
So
listen, I don't care. I'll be honest.
Right.
When it comes to like, are we in a Matrix? Is there a God? Is there not a God? Listen, I don't know how much time I physically have to breathe on this earth or this realm or
to
this.
do something a little bit more fun.
I have more things that I want to focus my attention on, and and my main thing is obviously I have to pay my bills, I got to pay my taxes. I hate all of it, you know what I mean? But I have to do what I have to do because that's just we're ants in a colony. But if I can during my time meet new people and have conversations and just talk about things I would normally not talk about or things that maybe make other people like we just talked about pedophilia. Like that's not a normal conversation you can have with someone unless you're comfortable with the person you're sitting across from. Like
right.
Once again, not condoning it, but that I like meeting people that you can just talk openly about anything.
It exists. Like what are you going to not talk about it?
Yeah.
Like and that's I don't know. I
watch too many documentaries. I watch weird shit.
Yeah.
I'm just maybe not desensitized, but I always like I can watch something like this guy killed 48 people, and the whole time I'm like, well, what did this fucker go through? Or what was his mindset to do that? Once again,
right. After kill,
I don't want those
like,
48 people gone, but I'm
right.
like, there's something there.
After I think there's a reason.
It's crazy.
I think that absolutely, but so it's like you're like, what's going on there? Like after kill 18, what's going on in his head?
Yeah,
you know, is he just like? Is it? I literally think that it's probably just like going to get groceries, you know, like it's literally just a part of his routine. You know,
and I got away with it. How can I keep getting away with it? Because most killers, like they're like, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna leave a note because I want to see if I do get caught. Like, they're just begging at some point,
right? Well, I think there's because there's a part of the human being that I would call the soul that wants to be.
Going back to the Joker, once he finally he never was accepted his whole life, and then people were cheering his murders because there was a social divide between poor and rich, and people were justifying and caring and wearing clown makeup. He's like, oh, they love me, and they kind of did.
Yeah. Well, it's like for those people cheering on Joker, would he still love them if he turned and shot their mother? You know? Like that's
once again, look at the situation if it was your family,
right? Well, I think. Like I was thinking about when we were talking about that, like if you knew somebody who was drunk driving and ran over a kid, it's one of the worst things you could do.
Absolutely.
You know, like the idea of pedophilia or, you know, mass murder, those are so far removed, but that's incredibly possible for anyone that we care about, you know? And so it's like, this is why I think it's so important that people have a group of people around them that love them unconditionally. And I am so fortunate to have that, not just in my relationship, but that I have friends who, you know, tell me often that like, no matter what, I love you and I'm going to be there for you. I don't think people have enough people like that in their life, and it's
genuine people,
right? Because there's nothing like you're one day away, you know, from being that person, from being whoever. And so if you don't have people when you come back to your senses to who you truly are underneath all that shit, and if you don't have a group of people there, you might not be able to, because you'll just constantly be labeled as the drunkard who ran over a kid, you know, if someone ran over my niece or nephew and was drunk, obviously I'd have anonymity, anger towards that person, but I would hope that I am mentally stable and healthy enough that I could say, I understand that person made a major mistake, and I hope in the future
people learn from this,
right? And that they can make amends in whatever way it is that they can make amends, you know, and like the punishment should be equal to the crime, and they should have to go do their time and blah 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 blah, but they should be allowed to grow past that. Yeah. And I
think we talked about it last time we sat down with the kid who was like 20 years old who just was born in nothing but hate and racism and ran a bunch of people over his car, and he got life without parole, and he's 20 years old. Like,
yeah, we did talk about that last time. Yeah, because I just like saw that newspaper article before I came over or whatever.
We could just literally do a podcast together. We look at social news and just kind of break it down.
Just be like, oh man,
like, that's terrible. I hope this is how rational people look at this.
Yeah. Well,
bunch of fucking leftist snowflakes are ruining our country.
Oh my god, dude, I'm so far out of politics.
I hate it.
Yeah, me too.
I hate all. I actually interviewed a girl who was in politics. But it was a great interview, and we both had a very good common ground when it came to things. She's like, "Do you vote?" I was like, "No." She's like, "You're part of the, like, not part of the problem," but I was like, "This is why I don't." And she goes, "I can justify. I can understand why you feel that way."
Yeah, I don't know if I'll vote in the next one.
I'm terrified.
Well, because as of now, this might come out like whenever it's coming out, but it's
the next election has me nervous.
Why does that have me nervous?
Because this could just be me. Because I once again I am talking just from spur of the moment emotion here, and I do know that media is trying to scare people, but a situation, I hope people don't react this way, but there are enough people that it does make me nervous that if, like, the day of the polls where someone doesn't go one way or the other and some type of violence breaks out and someone does get hurt, I can definitely see it becoming an issue.
Mm-hmm. See, I would be more worried about that.
I do feel there is a huge divide. Like, I think our country's divided with three sides. Obviously, you have your and when I say Democrats and Republicans, I know that each side of that there is different webs.
Right.
Like, not all Republicans feel this way, and not all Democrats feel this way. Mm-hmm. But the media only latches on to a certain side of Democrat and a certain type of Republican and a certain type of libertarian and socialist, people who believe in socialism, and then people who, like me, I just don't care. I just want people to fucking be treated right, and I think we should have a better shake at stuff. And I think 1% of the country who's rich and they're just sitting on money they'll never use, I think is bullshit too. Mm-hmm. But it does. But enough people who don't look at it, they all they do is watch the news. People are terrified. People
shouldn't watch the news.
They're basing themselves, like, they're literally living their life in fear, thinking that people's out to get them, because the job as the media is not to put media out. Their job is to just scare people, and that's not good.
No. I don't know. I feel like we're less at each other's throats than we were at the previous election. At least that's from my
realistically,
point of view.
If Trump loses, it's going to be a shit show.
But I don't think he's gonna.
I don't think he's going to either.
So, because and I am a Democrat.
They have no one to run against them.
No. And, like, they got no platform. Like, there's nothing. Like, he's gonna win. Mm-hmm. Like, and I hate that. Like, anyone can look at my Facebook history and see that I am anti-Trump. And so this is not me saying I'm going to vote for Trump or that I want him to win. Like, because I don't like him. Mm-hmm. And not, like, and just period. I don't like him.
I see him as he's a gangster. He's a mobster. He's the epitome of what the mob kind of was now. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't know. My whole thing is, and this has come from just me being an American who's lived overseas, is that we have a very bad reputation preceding Trump. I was over there, years. Obama was president, maybe the good days where he killed people. So who knows? And he smoked cigarettes, which is cool.
Obama.
Did he?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And weed. There's like a. I don't know if there's a picture of him smoking weed, but there's definitely a picture of him.
I think more presidents should smoke weed.
Level
themselves out a little bit.
But I think
more presidents should get blowjobs in the office. No, I'm joking.
I saw Monica Lewinsky the other day, and I'm like, she's much better looking now than she was in the 90s.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, I hope she's doing well. And I hope she listens to this.
We love you, Monica.
Thanks for stopping by. But I don't know. I'm so far removed from caring about that because
it's not going to affect my life.
Well, and I'm doing shit locally, man. I don't give a fuck. I want to see Pottsville get better. That's why I wake up every morning, because I wanted that town to be better. And that's why I do that shit. I know that I have a role to play in voting and paying attention to that stuff, and I do it to the best that I can without driving myself insane. But I was having a conversation with someone in the past couple of months, and they were telling me about all the shit that was happening in Turkey and how it was Trump's fault for that. And I'm like, when did you ever give a fuck about Turkey? I've never heard you speak about this country. Now, this company, Turkey. Now that Trump's involved, now you suddenly care about Turkey.
There's a lot of fake caring.
Like, yeah, and I'm like, well, that's exactly what it is. It's like you want to show me how much you care. Where are you? What are you doing for your town?
Yeah,
there's
a lot of people who are very, very anti-Trump that I listen to talk, and I'm like, can you stop? Because you're making me pro-Trump.
Yeah,
because you're like,
an idiot.
You're doing no research. You're basing yourself on nothing. So I do see both sides. Like,
I see that everywhere. I see that exact attitude on both sides.
Yeah,
and I see more blatant racism and just stupidity on the right, which is traditionally like, and it's not even like I'm literally just talking about memes. When I like what leftist memes are just shitty. Like I'm like just shitting on Trump for like a toddler. Because the thing about leftist policies and like I lean more left is that we're just deconstructionists. We're just like, this is what's wrong with you. And any fucking toddler on a playground can point out what's wrong in something.
Yeah.
But then you have the Republicans that don't think for themselves and just follow whatever they've heard their entire life and God bless the flag and all that dumb shit. So it's like you have these two parties of just fucking idiots who can't see past their own dumb fucking face or their own ideologies.
I love Louis Black. You ever listen to Louis Black?
I did a lot when I was younger.
Republicans, Democrats. I have an idea. I have a shitty idea. I can make it shittier.
Yeah, it's. And like, I'm sorry if anyone takes offense to anything I just said, but it's the proof is in the pudding.
If you think your party, if you're Dominican, if you're Dominican, no, if your party is Democrat or Republican, and you think your party is absolutely perfect, you are naive.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's exactly the right word.
And I just don't like when people are like, "Hey, if you openly speak that our country is not the greatest." There's been points in our history where have not been good. Then,
you're also an idiot.
And you think that we could improve on certain things. Like, what blows my mind is when people, like, we talk, like, so one of the only things I truly, truly care about is healthcare. Like, that's a big thing for me. And if someone says, well, we can't have fucking healthcare, who's going to pay for it? We can still pay for it in the same taxes we're fucking paying. Can we stop making politicians rich? Can we stop putting pockets and putting money that we're paying our tax into shit that we don't fucking need? Let's not construct fucking a couple tanks this year and some nuclear bombs, and that would fucking fund education and fucking school and healthcare.
Right.
If you really want your country to be good, let's all make everyone healthy and let's make everyone smart.
Right, and that's the exact argument. It's like if you say you care about your country, why would you not want your people running at maximum capacity?
Yeah,
which is healthy and well educated.
Yeah, let's educate. Like why? Like. Because education is more or less like if you can't get it unless you're fucking rich, and then if you do get it, you have to make yourself poor to get it.
Yeah, and
that's not good.
It's insane. The way that we treat people in this country is so just insane. The fact that like you're young, you're naive, you have no idea how the fuck the world. I'm 30 and I'm barely starting to figure it out, and you're like 18 years old and you have to take a debt that you're going to pay for inconceivable years, more than your current life on this planet. Fuck you for doing that. Yeah. That's evil. It's just to put that on somebody.
It just seems like the older generations are like, well, this is the way things were for us. We got fucked, so we're not changing because I went through it. You have to go through it. Like, no, that's not the that's not good.
Like anyone who's ever been near a parent or talked to a parent or has been a parent understands. Oh, I want things to be better for this person, And obviously everyone has to go. I think there's something to be said about we need tougher emotionally people, because I feel like people get and I'm not saying that to put down like I'm a sensitive boy. Listen, and I have a book of poetry right here.
That we did not get to at all yet.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It's. You need to be like, people are going to say things about you that you don't like.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like,
it is.
You need to understand who you are underneath all that shit, and that's
why I say if someone truly hates me, please tell me and let's sit down and talk about it. I'll even do it on a fucking podcast. I will fucking publish it. But we're gonna have a conversation about it. I won't get offended, but don't get offended if I defend myself either. Like, I think more people need to talk to one another.
Yeah, and I think people are allowed to disagree. You know, like, and that's okay. Because I remember saying this to like somebody who was very, and I may have said this on the last one we did, but he was very influential in my life, and I'm like, and we were debating. This is during a time in my life where I didn't really believe in God, and he did. I'm like, listen, you're putting a belief in your head between
Kobe,
between me and you.
Yeah.
You know, like I can touch you. Why are you putting something that's in the ether between us? You know, I understand that there are, you know, if someone's a child molester or like
I have friends
openly racist, you want to.
I have friends that are not openly racist, but they are racist, and I don't hate them because I can't change the way they think. I don't condone the way they think, but I do care for them as a physical person. I don't like what they believe in, but I just like. Do I separate myself sometimes? When we have conversations, I just don't play into them. I don't want anything bad to happen to that person.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends who are like super just gung-ho capitalism, and I'm not particularly anti-capitalism, but I'm also not very pro poor people. I'm not very poor. You not being able to afford to go to the doctor for whatever, you know, like, and obviously there's 1,000 different reasons as to why those overlap, but when my friends, they bring up capitalism and they start talking about, you know, how they love their job and the sales and blah, 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 blah. It's like, you're doing your thing. May not agree with you, but as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're not hurting yourself, then what do you want me to do? I'm not your fucking mom. I'm not your dad.
Small business in this area is, listen, like, I do think there are businesses who have started from nothing and worked their way up. And I give those businesses all the respect in the world. Like, for example, like Savis. He went from a guy who was managing a bowling alley bar, and he owns 2 businesses now, and owned 3 and sold 1. Like, hard work. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he works very hard. Yeah. I work with Abby, who works very close with Savis.
Even like the Weavers.
Yeah, I mean,
they were a mom and pop car dealership, and now they're huge. And like, I respect that. That's hard work. That's hustle. But like, then you have a company like McDonald's and Amazon, who doesn't, like, they've made billions and haven't paid a cent into taxes. If Amazon paid their taxes, that tax alone could fund healthcare. Right.
Yeah, I mean, again,
we can end homelessness, healthcare, and education if 3 major companies were actually forced to pay the taxes that everyone else has to pay.
Yeah, it's insane. It'll be one of those things where we look back on Rome and we're like, oh, you were fooled by the bread and the circuses? Yeah. You know, and history's gonna, it'll reveal itself, you know, and unfortunately we're stuck in the muck of it all. So I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, and I think local, like, people look at things locally and try to compare it to globally, and it's 2 different things. Yeah. Like, local politics and global politics are 2 different things. Local business, like your richer businesses in the area, are not on the same equivalent of $1 billion corporation. Right. Yeah. And and God, everything's so fucking complex, you know? So it's hard to, like, unless you're an expert in one field, like, maybe, like,
there was a while there, I'm sorry to cut you off again, but there was a while there that, like, I was very, not anti, but I was very bitter and kind of confused on why, like, our, like, local radio doesn't do more to support its community, because you have a platform, like, I'm just speaking of someone who has a platform that doesn't make money, that does it as passion, and I'm trying to justify how people get paid. Obviously, they get paid on sponsors and revenues, but I just felt like, ethic-wise, like, it doesn't hurt to fucking put somebody over without asking for a dime for it. Right. And then I talked to someone who came out of radio in a previous interview, and they're like, he opened my eyes to understanding a little more. I have a little different view on it, but I still don't, like, I just think every single thing in life shouldn't come down to a dollar amount. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's hard, because you need to be, like, you need to be cognitive, very healthy to make that realization, you know, and that's to some degree. And life is so hard, period. And it's so hard to try to help other people, or to try to be a person that can help other people, because you can't. The best way to help someone doesn't seem to be going up to them and being like, I'm going to help you.
Because some people don't accept it.
Right. Some people don't accept it. Some people just...
I'm not worse.
Yeah.
I'll look you right in your face like, I am okay. And then I go home and I'm like, I fucking hate myself.
Yeah, I do that. It's... Yeah, well, that's probably like a man thing of being like, I'm tough. Like,
Yeah,
I don't need
well, I mean,
like people to take care of me.
You're born in an area where you're just like, bury it deep down inside
Right.
and never talk about it again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's insane. But I don't know.
Let's switch gears here.
Sure.
So we got your book.
There
when
it is.
When the Soul Meets Itself.
When the soul meets itself.
Now, this is your second book.
Yep.
I do have the first one, but I think it's upstairs. Yeah,
That's fine.
I put it upstairs. That was more of a poetry/journey book.
Yeah. So that, like, the first book was called Voyage to Leave to Return. And that was, the arc of that was essentially, you know, what the name suggests. In the book, it was broken into two sections: to leave, to return. And the poems follow that arc of, and it was a spiritual thing for me of like, you know, I was in this place of I believe in God. Now I don't. Now
that.
kind of, where do I go from here?
A little pressed on there.
Yeah, I know. I was actually, somebody else was holding it and that happened. But what are you going to do?
I love it. It's character.
Yeah.
So what? Now, obviously, I cut off. I'm really
No,
sorry.
you're totally fine.
So where does this book derive from? The idea, the thought behind it.
So, do you want me to? I'll tell you like the story of like kind of how this came to be, and it'll swing into that. God, I think it was like mid-November, and well, it probably started like early November. I was just sitting at home one night. I'm like, I wonder how many poems I have. Like, if I like started collecting everything that I have written, how much would I have? And I had like 24 to 28 pages or something like that. Like the next day I typed it up and like all the poems, and I'm like, that's, you know, this is 56 pages, so that's like almost half of it, or damn near close. So I'm like, oh, I'm on to, like, there's a ball rolling. So what I did was kind of look back on these poems and looked for the overarching themes or ideas that I could hopefully kind of grow on. And something that I was seeing as a theme or an idea of something was the idea of beauty and the idea of passion. And I started to ask myself, why are we passionate beings? Why, you know, evolutionarily did we come to a place where the term passion needs to be used to describe a reality that we perceive? Or the fact that people will spend thousands of dollars flying to see something beautiful, or, you know, waiting in line all day to see the Mona Lisa. Like these beautiful things. Why do we fucking need them so bad? You know, because if you meet someone who goes a long time without anything beautiful happening to them or them seeing anything beautiful, they're a shell of a person. We need that. It's not as important as water and food, but goddamn, do we need something that really, and when I say beauty, I don't mean like I saw this beautiful girl or whatever. It's the things that attracts you, because we all have these pull towards, even fucking wrestling, you know, you love it. You're just like, fuck yeah, this goddamn thing, you know, like, and that's attraction.
Yeah.
Because there's something in you that's getting pulled towards wrestling. And what is that? You know, like, and so that was just curious for me of just like, and I mean, I kind of give it away with the answer of the book or the title of the book of what I think that the question is, but it's the soul seeing something of itself in something else and it rejoicing.
I do that a lot myself, like where I can listen to a song and the person who wrote the song may 100% not have written it the way I perceived it, but I got something out of it that maybe they didn't create. Same with, art, same with music, same with movies, same with wrestling. And that's why, like, even with this show, we don't do it as much, but I would love to do it more. Like, hey, let's sit down and watch a movie, and I'm just interested in what you got out of it and what I didn't. Like, when someone says I hate a movie, I'm like, well, why? Right. Like, what about it didn't you like? Like, I think just breaking stuff down like that is super fun.
When I first started dating Jamie, we like have a movie room above the coffee shop, and we watch movies there all the time. And she's like, this is the first group of people that after a movie you like sat down and discussed it.
I want to do that with you guys. Yeah. I want to come watch a movie with you guys, and
we'll watch like what's something you like.
And I want to see it for the first time. Anything, just be like, hey, we're having a movie night. Are you free? And I'll just drive up.
So we got like this poster in there for one of Bobby Weaver. His mom gave him this poster of, it has like 100 must-see movies on it, and so like we're slowly working our way through it. It has like The Godfather and Scarface. And
have you ever seen Warriors?
No.
The
Warriors!
Gang? Yes.
No.
I love that. You've never seen it?
No, but I've like know the memes.
It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, that's one I would like to see. I think
that's a must-see movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, back now we gotta segue back to the book.
I love it. People watching are like, I fucking hate this guy. I actually got some shit during the Tyler interview. From somebody. Yeah,
someone, what?
In the comment, they said, I like the interview, but you need to stop. Like, for me to stop telling me stories. And I was like, yeah, man, maybe. I said, but at some points I felt like Tyler was like wanting me to say something so he didn't feel like he was alone. Like, I'm trying to read the person I'm interviewing. Like like some people I can interview and I can just let them go the whole time. But it's not so much. I know it's called Interviews with Everyday People. I fucked up when I created it. It should be called Conversations, right? Because it's not really an interview type thing.
Sure. But that's just people getting bogged down in semantics or not realizing what a podcast is.
Yeah.
Or realizing what this is, and there's obviously like you could have had a list of things prepared, and maybe you do in your head.
I don't.
And, like,
I mean, in my head I do, but for the most part I just like.
But you're not like just. I'm sitting right across from you. You can see like there's not a list here that says like what's the name of the book, why did you name the book? Or, like it's organic conversation that we kind of have to keep being like, oh yeah, this, go back to this.
Because we have, I think it's great. Like some people will be like, oh, that you can chop out 500, like you could turn this hour and 16-minute thing that we're in so far into 13 minutes and still get the idea of your book out. It's not the whole point of it.
Right.
Because if someone's never met you and they didn't watch the first interview and they listen to us and they're like, it was a really good natural conversation, and they said some things I may be into or not into.
A lot about pedophilia.
Yeah. That's what I call Tim Mengle, the pedophile issue.
Oh God, no.
And then be like, he's not one.
I'm too religious for that to be associated with me. I'm like,
listen, man, religion and pedophilia go hand in hand sometimes.
They certainly do.
Especially when it comes to white people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's not talk about the Vatican. let's get back to this.
So the book.
But yeah, so I like really started doing like writing for this. I wrote like every day from mid-November until the end of December.
Holy matrimony.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the poems in there. I'm just going to be reading titles.
That's why I'm looking at the titles to see like because even the last one I kind of like read the titles and seen the transition from your journey then home. Because I think your titles are very good at setting the course.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was something we talked about at our poetry workshop at Pressed when we used to do those, and we'll be doing those in the future if anyone is interested. It's just, it's hard for poets to name poems because they want to put their best line from the poem into the poem, and like the key phrase from it, and it could ruin the poem. So something that I try to do is just like give titles that don't give everything away, but also like
the underlying meaning without it saying it.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. I think that's a better way to go. So when this airs, we would already have had the event at Press probably, and I hosted it and did such an amazing job.
I'm sure you did.
I was the greatest host of all time.
I can't believe you spilled that champagne, though, all over the place.
Yeah,
now we got to get champagne. But
Yeah. So it obviously hasn't happened yet. We're just...
Sure.
But, yeah, so we'll be sitting down and talking about the book and doing like a Q&A. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it's going to go.
I'm super excited to be doing this with... at Press, man. Like, it's
a cool environment.
Yeah, and well, like, it's all my friends, and like it's people who have always been super supportive of me. Of just
Press reminds me of this podcast in a way, but in a way I think would be even cooler. Like, you guys kind of all live in the same building. You know what I mean? It's like a sitcom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we
get that all the time.
You guys live together. You just work together. You're passionate enough. Where you can,
and we're friends. Like, and we have to like. So not only do I have to like deal with, am I making sure my rent is paid to Abby? Am I making sure that I'm working hard for Jay, who's lives in the same building and is my manager and is a very good friend of mine. You know, so it's like I have all these things of like these multiple levels of like we got to make sure we're good. Like when we were just hanging out, that I didn't say
you're
anything.
friends, but you're being respectful to what you have.
Right.
You have to be respectful on different, because there is different levels and titles of things.
Yeah, it's very, and especially because like I'm older than the only person who's older than me that works there is Zach, but it's these guys are all my junior, but they're all fucking so far ahead of me in like maturity and like knowing how to like handle a business. So I have no problem surrendering to them and being at their.
I mean, Abby has gray hair, but that's because that's not because she's old.
Yeah.
I actually love her hair like that.
Oh my gosh.
It looks so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it reminds me a lot of the podcast because it's like we're not making money on this. This is not a business yet. It's not saying we're not trying.
Right.
But I'm sitting down with a group of friends and doing something and kind of creating something. And you guys did create something. You've created Pressed, you know what I mean? Like, and it's cool.
Yeah.
And you guys
wasn't there. Like, that's what trips me out. Like, dude, like, so we've been open a little over a year. And
so you guys always lived above it, but just never had anything below it?
No, we haven't. So they bought the building in early 2019, I believe. And then Abby and Bobby moved in. And then I think that's when they decided I don't know the exact timeline. You should get Abby Weaver on here, like I've been trying to get on for forever.
I think we're gonna go to her. I think
that's honestly best. But
in your movie room.
Yeah, that it would work.
We'll do a podcast and then we'll watch a movie.
We'll watch that absolutely.
And then we could do another podcast of us talking about the movie.
Yeah. But no,
Pressed After Dark.
That's it. Yeah, so they decided to open the coffee shop, and that's when they got Jay and Blythe Herr, who are our managers. They got them on board, and then they moved into the building, and then they were like, oh shit, we need someone to do all kind of the grunt work and be a third person in like the actual barista group, and that was me. And so they asked me to move in, and God, this was however long ago it was. And then, but okay, so what trips me out, what I was saying was that this wasn't there a year and a half ago. You know, we built this thing that people have like now part of their daily routines. Yeah. And that's super humbling for me to be like, fuck. Like,
I like it, and I don't even drink coffee.
Yeah.
I hate coffee.
It's a great place to be.
It's just a good environment.
There's like, and I'm not like building it up just because I work. Like, I go and sit down there like as a customer occasionally, you know, like often, and just sit there and just be like, if I didn't work here, I'd be here not just because my friends own it, but it's something our town needs because it's not alcohol centric. It's not party centric. You don't have to like yell at each other to hear each other. You can just sit there and have a conversation, and you know, it's a nice atmosphere. We usually have pretty relaxing music on, or you know, something that people enjoy. So I don't know. It's such a blessing to just be a part of like, I love seeing people being like, oh, like people I've never seen in my entire life being like, I'm meeting someone here. That means that in their private life, they were like, oh, have you heard about this new coffee shop? We should check it out and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know if this is stroking my ego, but God damn, it feels good to be a part of that team, you know, to be like.
I get the same thing too. So, hey man, I really liked your podcast, or you have a new subscriber, or someone just liked the page. And then I look, I'm like, we're not physically friends. And like, or they live in like 50 miles away, like, and then I'm like, I want to be like kind of weird, be like, well, how did you find me? And like, what do you like about it? But I don't want to be like,
well, this is, you'll think this is funny, hopefully, or else I'm caught as a liar. But I played this show one time down in, like, it was outside of Philly, and I was like early, like I wasn't even Churches and Trains yet. I was still playing as my name, and some guy came up to me after the show, and he's like, we were just kind of shooting the shit or whatever. And then I asked him, I'm like, who are you here to see? Because I'd never met this man. And he's like, oh, you. He's like, I was looking on the website and I saw your name. So I, looked you up on YouTube and I found some of your music and I really loved it. So I came. And I'm like, I literally had the thought, give him $5. Like, that went through my head because I'm just like, I don't know how to thank you other than...
I'm a hugger, and it's weird. Like, I go up to, like, strangers, and they're like, oh, like, I don't know.
Asia knocked that out of me because they are not touchy people.
Who?
Asians. Like, when I lived over there, they don't touch.
Heidi hates it. Heidi hates like I'm a hugger, and then she'll be like, would you stop fucking hugging people? Not everyone likes that shit. And I'm just like, oh, my God. Yeah, that's how I was when I moved over there. But this was always funny. Whenever I would come back home, I would always make my Taiwanese friends hug me. Like, they never had to do it any other time because I knew they were uncomfortable about it. But I'd be like, listen, I'm going away for 2 months. Lord knows what could happen in those 2 months. Just wrap your arms around me for 2 seconds. Yeah.
Like, this in the West, this means a lot.
Yeah, and if I don't hug you, it's not because, like, 'cause I know when I say this, I actually had someone come up to me like, well, I heard that you like to hug people and you've never hugged me. I'm like, because I don't want to be weird. Like, I don't know if you'd accept it. Like,
well, and hugs a weird thing of like, I'm gonna just kind of throw my body against your body.
I'm gonna press up against you.
Pressed coffee and books.
Pressed. Yeah. I want to get a shirt that says free. I want a free hug shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could make one with a marker and a.
Yeah. That'd be extra creepy.
Oh my gosh! You want to hear
the interviews already? People free hug shirt. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well,
I'm on to something.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody will sue me for it. I made the
big free hug.
Yeah, like it's a conglomerate. Like, they have a company already worked.
They
out.
sell those signs.
Yeah, they're like, you fucking stole it.
But they're actually like, it's some wizard factory, and they're using like the kinetic energy of hugs to power pedophilia rings in Germany. Who knows?
Yeah, Epstein didn't kill himself. Yeah, like, can you copyright a request? I wonder if
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, Taylor Swift. Well, I don't want to talk about Taylor Swift.
Well, now you said it. Now I don't know.
She like what was that song that came out?
Shake It Off.
Yeah, she coined like a bunch of like random phrases from like copyright phrases from that are just like
Ric Flair's trying to copyright the title "The Man" because he was the beat a man. You gotta beat the man.
Jesus.
So he's trying to copyright the man because another wrestler's starting to use it, and then I think he tried to copyright "woo." Like the
it should be like it should be like. It's not the thing; it's the way the thing is done.
Yeah,
he
if
can't
there's
take
too many
the woos,
woo.
but there's like a woo. You
Yeah.
know, like there's a difference between a Ric Flair woo and a man that's like woo,
or like an oh yeah Kool-Aid and an old man Macho Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's what like everyone's like, how do you like wrestling? How do you not like?
Yeah.
So many amazing cultural things came from wrestling. So many.
I just want a Slim Jim just from thinking about Macho Man Randy Savage.
Fucking fantastic.
Like, I want to snap into a Slim Jim. That's the idea that it's not the idea, it's the fact that the CIA was, I think it's the fact, I say that like I fucking know anything.
You're watching.
Yeah. It's the CIA was, people from the CIA were the first people to get into marketing and to know how the brain works. And that's why when I think of fucking Macho Man Randy Savage, I'm like, I want to go and buy a Slim Jim. I don't eat meat, but I'm gonna go and get a Slim Jim. I'm gonna drop my money.
I love Slim Jims.
Oh, me fucking too. They're great.
They're soft.
My stepmom used to slip them underneath my door. That was the best. I wish more people snuck Slim Jims underneath my bedroom
If
door.
you know I'm going to be at an event, you can bring Slim Jims. I'll take them. Slim Jims
he'll
and peach
take 'em.
rings. And peach rings. I'm a peach rings guy.
I love peach
I
rings.
like peach flavored everything.
Yeah, peach is good.
I
I like peaches.
We should.
How do you feel about peaches?
I like peaches as well. You need a peach tea at Pressed Coffee.
Yeah, we were doing that. We were pressing our own for a while, but the rate at which they were, I mean, this is all like behind the things, but it wasn't profitable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get there eventually because we
Or even if you have tea packets.
Yeah. Well, we want to try to like, this is like getting into like behind the scenes, but we want to honor what the company that we get all of our like, they want to be like authentic, natural flavors. So a lot of that shit is like artificial, like peach. So it's like, and I agree that it's like, boy, it'd be fun to have like a peach tea or whatever. But there's a part
I usually
of
come
me,
in and I get a water and then like a crepe because I can't, like there's all the tea drinks are like very coffee eccentric.
We'll find you something. You don't like, how do you do with milk based stuff? This is a great conversation.
Yeah,
I hope everyone's enjoying Anthony's opinions on milk.
To me, I love this, but if you're someone, I get it if it's not for you. But I like milk-based things, but like when it comes to like coffee, like I'm not a coffee person. Espresso.
Have you had a London Fog? Have I talked to you about that?
No.
So it's a tea-based latte, but it's Earl Grey tea with milk and our homemade vanilla. So
I'll try it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I've sold like so many people on them. They'll come in and be like, I don't know what I want. I want to like, because it'll be like, I want to be here, but I don't, because I don't drink coffee either.
We actually bought, way off topic, but for Christmas this year, we made it a point that like we're going to get people Christmas gifts, but the Christmas gifts we're going to give are going to come from local businesses.
Right.
So like Heidi bought somebody a bag of coffee and we got it from Pressed. And then we went to the flower shop that has like the store, and then she went and bought like the soup mix. Like you could buy a jar of soup mix and then bought like a jar of like different things like dog treats, and that's where I got my Scream Queen stuff. And then like we went and got Loki and Layla candles. So like everything we've got people for Christmas all came from local business. So this way, if you buy someone like, man, I really like that coffee, where do you get it? Oh, in Pottsville there's this really cool place. Or like, you like that candle? Oh, in Pottsville.
Right.
Like
yeah, that's great. I mean, that's like, I bought a shit ton of stuff off of Amazon, just full disclosure, for Christmas, but I also did that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I think people have such extremist views that it's like either I'm never gonna eat meat or I'm only gonna fucking eat meat. You know? And obviously those are both over exaggerations and not practical, or not how the real world works. My girlfriend and I, we cut off of meat a little over a month ago, almost 2 months ago, and it's not a preachy thing. We're not doing it so that we feel better about our social standings. It's literally, we just came to a mutual point where like, I think we need to stop eating meat. There's gonna come a point in the future, potentially, where we go, I want a fucking hamburger, you know, and we're gonna go and eat a hamburger, and that's fine. You know, I think people are so scared of trying these other things because they always see them as permanent, you know, or even like moving away. Like people don't want to move away because they don't want to move back.
Yeah.
You know, like, because moving back either implies that like, weren't you strong enough to stay out there, or like, didn't you make it on your own?
Or people move out thinking that,
or why the fuck would you move back?
Yeah. Or
you know?
you move out and you're like, oh my God, I hate this area. I'm going to move somewhere where that's not a thing. Guess what? It's going to be a thing.
It's a thing.
It's going to be a thing there too.
Well, the thing that you're running away from is, and this is me playing pseudo psychology major, is like the thing that you're running away from is inside of you, you know, and you
will find it again.
Right. It's gonna pop up, like, because the things that annoy you are gonna annoy you everywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
a crazy thing too is like when I talk to a lot of people who went through drug addiction, and they were like, we're gonna move away, and the second they move away and go to a different town, they immediately find a hookup within 3 days.
Yeah, because you can. Yeah,
knowing complete stranger, because you look at someone like, oh, he's a hookup.
Yep.
Like it's crazy how like your demons will fall, like they will be right there waiting for you. And that's not a religious thing. Like I'm not saying demons is like a physical thing where they're like, there he is, you know, I mean, put the universe, put them together. That might be a thing as well. There may be little goblin guys who are putting people, I don't know, but it is, you're gonna, like,
you're gonna find that
the energy you put off is going to bounce back to you.
Yeah.
The law of attraction.
Yeah. Well, I see. I push back against the law of attraction to some degree, because there's a part of me that's like, you can't make everything happen.
No.
So it's that idea is I
feel if you are super, super negative, super angry, super depressed, super sad, and that's the only thing you put off, you're going to get that in return.
Yep. See, I absolutely see. That's what that's you reap what you sow.
I don't think it's like
karma.
Like The Secret, like I'm going to be rich, 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 and just sit back and keep saying it, and it's eventually going to come to you. No, you have to get up and physically do the action to become that.
See, this is we get in philosophical debates about this at the coffee shop. Of are you accomplishing these things because you're focusing all your energy on them or whatever? Or is there something like, if you constantly think about something or whatever, will it manifest itself?
That'd be a fun show too. If we just go up in Pressed After Dark.
Yeah.
We'll do it like a Pressed After Dark Part 1. And
we'll just sit down in the coffee shop and
turn the lights off, light candles, and talk.
Yep. And drink whiskey or something like that.
I'm in.
Yeah. But
there's a lot of cool people there that I think have really cool ideas.
Oh my God.
And behind the scenes are really doing cool things in their community as well.
Yeah. I think, and you'll never find a more, going back to the book, a more passionate group of people who who just wake up with such purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm not really including myself in that. I'm like openly admitting it to the group. Like, I'm the laziest out of everyone who lives there. Like, my girlfriend included. She's much more hardworking than I am, even though I think she would disagree, but she would know on some level that she's right.
Well, the press team is very, they do practice what they preach, and I can tell you that from 100% experience. So like when Loki and Layla had their grand opening, I had my podcast there. I didn't record a second of anything because no one sat down and talked to me. But Joe didn't have time to sit, or his wife, because they were making sales.
Right.
But I was happy to be there just that day and took some pictures for them. And then Terry played, so I did get footage. I just didn't get stuff for me, which is fine. I didn't care.
Right.
But the whole press team came down as a team, like a group, bought candles, came down, supported the opening of a local business, left, and then sent an employee down with coffees for everyone at press, from press there. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Like, I love that.
Well, because we're on the same team.
Exactly.
Like, we're literally just trying to like make this town. Because people, like, I get this from my dad. I get this from people in the coffee shop all the time. Of just like, I remember when Pottsville was a place that we just walked around and bought shit. And like, that's what we're trying to like. We're trying to bring that back.
If I ever got to a point where I had money, or I had like a good amount of money to get a building or a location or a studio, and I know this is going to upset people from my side of the mountain, because they always say, how come all the good stuff goes to the other side of the mountain? It's because that side's trying right now.
Right.
But I would love to have a studio in walking distance, like foot traffic of Pottsville. And I think if you're a business owner now, and you even have an idea that you want to be a business, now is the time to get it.
Yeah.
Because
jump on it.
It's going to change. There's too many passionate people for it not to work.
Right. If you come in with actual, like, listen, I want to do this, and like with some sort of an idea, there are so many people who will be like, we're not going to do it for you, but we can show you how it's done. And I've said this before, and I can't remember if it was on here or not, but I have no interest in opening a business ever. But seeing these guys do this, it's not easy, and it's not always fun, but it seems doable.
Yeah.
And so it's don't let your dreams be dreams.
Oh,
baby.
yeah. It will happen. I definitely will. But if it does, that's exactly what I would have it in something. I would have it in Pottsville. I would love to have a building in Pottsville.
Yeah. And there's some like cheap like office buildings for like literally less than $300 a month So
Yeah, I can't do that right now.
well, right, yeah, but like if
Yeah.
revenue comes in, from
100%.
whatever it is.
My goal, honestly, would be like if I had a building, I would have the downstairs be like a merch store where I would sell like the merch. But I would also have like, hey, over here is like you can buy all these local bands are selling their CDs. Or this is some other things you can get, like a small section of press, a small section of this business, and then buy a small bag. But it'll be like, hey, by the way, if you want to go see their actual store, and send that foot traffic there as well.
Right.
And then I would like to have 2 or 3 different podcast studios, like my main studio and maybe one for 2 of my shows, because I think 2 of them have a similar layout but different backdrops. And then I would have like a photography thing, and then I'd have like 2 guest studios where if somebody wanted to start a whole podcast, they don't necessarily have to be part of my network,
Right.
but I will give them a platform to come in and record.
Right.
And then I would really, really love it would be have a recording studio. I wouldn't know personally how to run it, but I would put the money in to put a recording studio and be like, hey, you want to record your album?
Right.
And this there's a place that is charging you a ridiculous amount of money to do your thing. If you can find a producer and you're willing to pay that producer to do it, here's all the stuff.
Right.
Like to give back, because I'm passionate about the music scene, and that would be my way of giving back as well. Like that would be like my goal dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
and that's speaking it into existence. So I feel it'll
hopefully
happen. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so going back to that, I would say that it's as you as a person naturally grow and mature, your mind falls into a place that syncs up harmoniously with the universe, for a lack of a better term, and what Anthony's here to do, what I'm here to do. Our brain, I won't say it knows what that is, but it understands that it's a thing, and it needs to figure out what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You know? And so as we learn to get healthier, but more healthy thought patterns, ways of thinking, higher levels of awareness, we can kind of see where we belong in that. And so as we're projecting what we want and what we hope we can get, we're aligning with those things that are kind of already deeply within us, like the podcast. Like, obviously you didn't know what that was when you were 14 or that you were going to do this. Like, I'm not saying
2 years ago.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I think, I just have seen a lot of poor things done with ideas similar to the law of attraction. So it's just it's raw chicken for me, you know? And because I remember one time I was in a church and saw these guys, like, they literally said, like, if you can learn to speak God's language properly, he'll bless you with whatever. And they didn't, I started that by saying,
speaking in tongues?
Well, no, speaking in tongues, that's actually that's a thing that doesn't just happen to religious people. It's called Plasalia or something like that.
I listened to the new Eminem. I think he spoke in tongues. Yeah, he was going pretty fast.
Is it good? I haven't listened to it yet.
A lot of people hated it. I liked it.
I'm sure. I don't know.
He changed. He grew up.
I have no opinion. I don't need to, my opinion on the current Eminem album is worth literally 2 cents. That's why they call it and not even that. It's worth looking at 2 cents. It means nothing, and as a friend, if I listened to the album, I would love to have a conversation and be like, oh, that's cool that's what you thought. But I think people take just that minute, literally 2 cents thoughts and shit and take them way too seriously.
Yeah.
And this is I've deleted every social media app off my phone besides Messenger.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm just
anymore?
No, I mean I go on it and shit. You can go through Chrome or whatever.
Yeah. And
I'll download Instagram to post or whatever, and then I'll just delete it again.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm just I'm tired of this. I love memes, haha, they're funny, but I'm seeing the same shit every day, and just someone just it literally is just the void. So people can just jump in and just be like, I'm fucking pissed off at racists and fuck them, and it's
block all that and follow my pages because we're fun.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think that I've seen places on the internet where it can be done well, and it's not egocentric or idealistic or
I'm
whatever.
very proud of our content. I think if you're a wrestling fan, I think our wrestling page is very good at keeping it very unbiased. Like we're like, hey, we like this, and if someone's like, I didn't, we'll be like, okay, well, what didn't you like about it, and we'll talk about it.
Right, because it's a drama.
Yeah,
you know?
or like are not cool in high school. Like, hey, new thing came out. We're kind of giving you some news, and most people in the comments are like, I don't like it or dislike it, but it's not. Like, it never ever has gotten ugly.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's a great level of like maturity in being able to be like, you like something that I don't like, or I like, vice versa or whatever. Yeah. I grew up. I would never admit that I didn't like the Beatles until certain, like maybe 3 or 5 years ago, when I was like, I don't like the Beatles. That doesn't mean that everyone who doesn't like the Beatles is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure they love the shit out of them. But when I hear the Beatles, I'm just like, it's not for me, man.
Yeah.
Next thing. And like, that, again, that doesn't make it wrong. And that doesn't make me better. It doesn't make me worse. It just means I don't like the Beatles.
Yeah.
That's all it means.
I'm very confused by it, but I let it go.
By me not liking the... Really?
I love the Beatles.
Well, like, and seeing everybody does.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's like...
I think I liked the Beatles because it was something that I more attached the Beatles to a family member who's no longer around that was also a Beatles fan. So when I hear that music, I'm like, man, this made this person happy.
But I think... I mean, there is... I can't be right.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, you are who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and what I mean is, like, the evidence of... Are the Beatles good is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so they're just...
There's a movie called Yesterday. Did you hear about that one?
The what?
There's a movie called Yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't it...
The guy who wakes up and the Beatles never existed, so he starts putting their songs out.
Yeah. And that's...
I want to see it.
I heard some people talk about that on a podcast, and they were like, would those songs be as influential if...
Their harmonies were good.
Yeah. And it, like, if it wasn't the Beatles doing the Beatles, would it be... If it wasn't Bob Dylan doing Bob Dylan, would Bob Dylan be as good as he is? I
mean, Bob Dylan did other people's things and still were successful.
People fucking took... Well, and, like, I mean, All Along the Watchtower, which is... And, I mean, most people don't know this, but Knock, Knock, Knocking on Heaven's Door was a Bob Dylan song.
Yeah, and the Guns N' Roses did it.
Yep, and fucking did it I won't say 1,000 times better, but they did it better.
Bob Dylan now is interesting.
I won't go.
You can't even listen to the songs.
That doesn't exist to me.
Yeah.
Like, you talking about Bob Dylan now is like you talking about like some person I've never met.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, I literally like cognitively being like,
he doesn't even do the same structure of the songs that he's done before.
Well,
it's so different.
Yeah, but to defend him, fuck you. He's Bob Dylan. He can do whatever he wants. He's gonna drop dead at any second. And so like he can do whatever. If he wants to come out. And
my favorite is Bob Dylan during the "We Are the World," where he's not even singing. He's just looking at the mic like this. He's like, I hate everyone here.
Oh my god. I don't know if we've talked about this or if you've seen it, but I have him tattooed on my leg.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so he means the world to me, but like I said, it's young Bob Dylan tattooed on my leg. Not someone, my best...
I want to get Bob Dylan angry at "We Are the World," just with his mouth right against...
Just pissed off and confused. Or just, oh my god. I was so obsessed with him for the longest time, to the point that I got a tattoo of him on my leg. And I don't regret it, but like somebody... My best friend sent me a message and was like, hey, Bob Dylan's playing in Philly. Are you going to go see him? And I'm like, fuck no. Like, and he was like shocked. He's like, why not? Like, and I'm like, because I don't want to see that. Yeah. That isn't what I think of when I think of Bob Dylan. I think of 1964.
That's like when someone says this wrestler's coming to retirement. Do you want to go see him? Like, no, I don't want to see.
He's going to break everything.
I don't want to see 80-year-old wrestler just...
Yeah, I remember when I used to... I don't...
Hit me with a fucking chair.
Please, kill me. I'm in so much pain. Please, just end it.
Did you ever see the movie The Wrestler?
No.
You should watch that one. That's a good one, too.
Who's that?
Mickey Rourke.
Okay.
He literally plays a guy who was, like, headlining Madison Square Garden, and now he's cutting meat in a deli. Like, he went from being the biggest thing of all time.
Dude, that's... So, okay, so this is... I watch this... Bobby Weaver has a fun thing where he likes to watch fail army videos. That's his fucking thing. I can't.
If people get hit with a face with a bat, like a medicine ball, I'll piss myself watching.
I don't know why people. I don't know. It's
great. I have an Instagram account I follow called Kids Getting Hurt, and it's just parents videotaping their kids running through the living room, and they just smack their head on the fucking.
All right. So before we get too far off this thing, I saw this. We were watching a fail army video the other day, and So there's like a bunch of people were taking video of like some dude burning out. Like he was like, you know, really getting his car going. I'm trying not to be like derogatory towards people with fancy cars.
And you're just like rooting for him to.
Well, no. So like in the video, everyone's like so pumped. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, guy. Like you're doing great. Like look how big this smoke is, and look how big your penis is. And like,
meanwhile, I'm watching like I hope his car explodes.
Well, no. So what happens is he like goes flying off, and he like swerves a bit, and a cop sees him and goes on, and like the people start like going like, oh yeah, and they start filming that too. They turned on him in a fucking second, and like you could see it, and it was amazing to watch how fucking frail the human like I don't give a fuck about you, like just like I'm not speaking towards you, but like this douche in a car, it's just like, oh my god, you're the coolest person, but now that's cooler, and fuck you, you're going like you're gonna have a fine that you're gonna have to pay off for several months. And we're just recording it. Haha, that person has like he's gonna be thinking about for the next week. That's funny to us. Fuck all that, man. Fuck it with the biggest hardest rod you can find.
I love social experiment stuff like that. There's a show on Netflix right now called The Circle. Have you heard of this? It's like a game show, but it's a huge social experiment. They put people in this house, and they can only talk through their TV, like via text message. Like their voice goes through, and then it types it out for them, and then it sends to other people in the house. And they're playing this giant game of who's the last one standing to win $100,000, and all they can do is rank each other by their profile pictures.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, and like that's insane. Maybe I should watch that because
it's everything you're gonna hate about the world, but you watch it, you're like, this is so fucking fascinating.
Well, there's a part of me that I think we're waking up to the evils of social media.
Yeah.
I think like there's starting to be a renaissance of like maybe we don't have to be assholes to each other.
Yeah.
And if you haven't thought that, maybe you don't have to be an asshole to another person. Just think about that. I love when people
follow other pages that they're clearly not into, and they hate everything about it, but they will comment 14 times a day to tell that page how much they hate them.
Right.
Like I have a guy who goes through all my videos right now and gives it a thumbs down.
Really?
It's awesome. I love it. And I keep telling other people like, hey, when you watch this, give it a thumbs down because you take away that guy's power.
Right. Yeah.
Like I want all my videos to be the most thumbs down videos of all, because that means nothing to me.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but something I got from Bobby Weaver's, he's like, I don't hate follow. Like I don't follow an account or a person so I can see, did they do this?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and it's just like, what a shitty thing to do.
People
to just like, yeah, I mean I've definitely been guilty of it. Like I've followed organizations or whatever that I've been affiliated with, and then have severed ties, but still want to know what they're doing. Like that's all my ego. That's all me, like being like, well, they did this. That's stupid.
Well, I left their garbage now.
Yeah, and it's like the dualistic mind of like, this is right, this is wrong, they're out, I'm in. Like it's too much to. We need to get over that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to bring to the table with my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
I think you do a good job.
I think when people listen, they're like, "Oh, you guys talked about bullshit for 2 hours," but this is about as natural conversation. This is the conversation you would have with someone if you cared about in your kitchen. Right. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say this sounds like two friends talking over beers.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I try to.
A beer.
Yeah. And and I mean, like, obviously, I'm trying to put out a positive message, but I'm not trying to fake who I am either.
Mm-hmm. I'm
not like your Jimmy Kimmel who. I'm just this purebred white. Everything's amazing, and then behind closed doors, he's probably doing blow. And
he loves doing coke. That's what I've heard about Jimmy Fallon.
And if that came out, people would be like, "Oh my, whatever." Either one of them, they're the same person.
They shouldn't have had. Doesn't networks know not to have two Jimmys?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just try to be genuine, and sometimes people are like, "Well, I don't want to come on your show because you curse." Or I'm like, "Well, it is what it is. Like that. It's natural. Yeah. It's not like we're cursing every 30 seconds, but it's just I'm a Cook County podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
so going back to this,
the book. There's a book here.
There were some things in here that I was like, I went back and forth of like whether or not I wanted to put it in. And or just even like something that I noticed with the process, and I didn't think that this was a problem when writing Voyage, was I was concerned about how people would interpret these words, either about myself because I'm the person writing them, or whatever. And like I have the line fully erect in this book.
Really?
Yeah, it's not in this copy, but it's in because I like literally
I want that copy.
You're gonna get the copy because that's the actual official one.
Oh, this is just like a tester?
Yeah, so this was the proof. So I got this, and then
is it in just as quickly? I feel like
no, that would be a good place to put it. It's in the Divine Compass is what it's called, but which is a weird. Well, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to subvert people and be like
Divine Compass, and then you're like erect. What the fuck?
Yeah, because I wanted to be like it's all holy. It's all part of the goodness of life.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
nothing better than being fully erect,
dude. You like this is so funny.
I've never been angry and fully erect.
So there used to be a band in the area. God, I hope it's them. I hope I'm getting this as right as I can because I want it to just be a great story. But I think it was a band called Pale Harvest, and they had on MySpace you could put like a little like quote or whatever up by your profile picture. And theirs was, we're all a product of our parents' horniness. And that stuck with me my entire life. Because I'm like, it's so true, and we don't want to think about that.
Fuck, where is it? I'm listening.
No, like that, I don't know, without being horny, you wouldn't, like, life wouldn't consist on, you know? And it's a part of the thing.
We're going to do something at the end.
Okay.
We're getting there. So in closing, is there anything else you want to talk about with the book?
Maybe just like where they can get it and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So again, we're not 100% sure when this is coming out, but it'll be out as of February 1st. So if that is in the past for you, then that means that this is available. If it's in the future for you, that means it will be available. But yeah, it's coming out on February 1st. It's going to be up on, well, so if you Google When the Soul Meets Itself and my name, you'll be able to find it. It's on lulu.com.
We'll have all the links below.
Yeah. We're working on getting that into, like, on Amazon and all that, like, on the Kindle and whatnot. But the problem is that just through the company that which I do this, they don't put it onto those things, so we have to go another route to do it, and we'll get there. But it'll be at the coffee shop. It'll be at Press Coffee and Books. It'll be on the shelf there. If you just shoot me a message, I'll point you in the direction that you can get it. I've also just, driven to someone's house and given them a copy, so I'm not above that either.
What if they PayPal you $7? Will you send them a digital copy?
I would send them.
Here's the email.
I wouldn't mind doing an ebook. I think the ebook takes away something that. Like
Stanley always said, he goes, digital
boobs.
Comics, yeah, but it's just like, it's like holding a pair of boobs. You want to hold the physical book,
right? Yeah, and like I love this size. Like I'm so happy with how this turned out. I think it looks great, and it like fits in your back pocket. So it's
take
like,
on the road.
Yeah, it's literally one of those things. It's just like I want people to sit with this, like, and not just kind of be like, this is something I need to like. Don't read this just to make me happy.
Yeah.
I want you to sit and read these and think about it. Not that, I think I have anything like, life-changing or anything in here, but I think that's how poetry is supposed to be approached, slowly, and it's like making love to a woman. Slowly, tenderly, you just kind of...
No, I just get in and get out.
Yep, I'm sure that's great.
I'm 33. I don't got time.
I got shit to do.
My body hurts. I got videos to edit. I got mine. You better...
You'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
You'll be... Yeah. No, that's not a great mindset to have. But yeah, so it's... I don't know. That's what I would recommend for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super happy about it. If you like the idea of beauty or passion, which everybody does, then maybe there might be something in here for you.
You gotta put a big butt poem in there. That's nothing more beautiful
than a big butt.
Yeah.
See, there's a part of me that wonders if I'm like sitting on a gold mine by not using my natural humor, and because you said it about my music, my poems, they're all earnest as fuck. But like if you talk to me, I'm a silly fun boy. You know, like I like having a good time. I like joking. I like cursing, all this stuff. But then like you meet my art, and it's like, who's this?
Yeah.
Like this sensitive little like, look up at the stars and how beautiful, you know? Like, and I mean, I'm sure you can see that a little bit in me, but I'm not a hard ass by any means. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of lost the thread on that one.
Yeah. So we're gonna close out here. We're getting close to the 2-hour mark.
Cool.
So this is the thing I just bought. So I have pod decks. Remember, I don't know if you were here for pod decks. I bought these. It's like a deck of cards, and you flip them, and it's like a question. They're very fun, but they're very like deeper thought questions, and we've been doing that too much already. So I'm going to try to flip it back and forth between stuff. So this is the first one. I just bought this. This is actually a game by Barstool Radio, Barstool Sports, and this is called Ask the Internet. So they pretty much found these questions, and it has 3 types of questions. It has answer the internet questions, poll the internet questions, and debate the internet questions. So there's 3, either a debate card, a poll card, or just an answer card. And you can play it as a game, and you can play it, and whoever wins, or you can just do it on a podcast. And I'll ask you these questions, and you can answer them. Now, some of these are fucked up.
Sure.
All right. And if you don't want to answer it because it's too fucked up, obviously you can always pass.
Okay.
But then we'll just judge you. Here you go. Now, some of these are sports related as well. But we can do music as obviously. Who is the worst group of fans?
Oof. I don't know. I think it would be, and this is a wrong answer. This is just like me as a person, but like teeny bopper girls at like punk pop shows. Fuck that. Or
like a girl wearing a Nirvana shirt. Like, I love Nirvana. Like, who's Nirvana?
Yeah, you just like, or I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I've seen a lot of bands play for a large crowd of young girls where they're like, I don't want this. I want to be like to dudes who like want to like, I don't know. That's, yeah. I just pissed off a bunch of people, but
that's the internet.
That's the internet. I am the internet.
Would you rather have sex with your dream girl once or get nudes from every girl you know?
I don't want to answer this.
Okay. Listen, I'm just gonna disappoint her anyway. So one-time sex for me isn't worth it.
That's true. I didn't think. See, here's the thing. I wouldn't know. Besides, like my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to be like, this is the girl I want to fuck. You know, like there are like. I am a man insofar as like you show me a picture of Scarlett Johansson, I'm like, I want to fuck her. You know, that's like that comes up on the first thoughts.
One of the questions on here, which can go back to getting a nude of everyone you know, if you knew like that someone you knew or someone you were directly connected to had a sex tape on the internet, would you watch it?
Depends on the person.
Nope, not me. I would 100%. It doesn't care.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just
I mean, yeah,
not
I mean,
weird like in that aspect, but I would. My curiosity is
like 80% of me says like, yeah, why not?
That could be not even something I'm into, and I'd be like, I'm interested.
Yeah. Well, I think I was thinking about this the other day, and this again, like, why do we look at our shits, or like?
I don't.
Like, I feel like that's a thing, though. Like, people take pictures of it, and
I have
like
a friend who always takes pictures of his
yeah,
shit.
and I'm like, what is that?
I never look at my shit.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
I should start.
I thought it was like because I've heard many. Leave it in the comments. Do you look at your shit?
Yeah, do you look at your shit?
Oh God.
We'll put this in the game. Would you rather burp the sound of a gong, or sneeze the sound like a bowling strike for the rest of your life?
Oh my God. Sneeze like a bowling strike, because I think that would be hilarious. I think gongs would annoy people. I think if like, because imagine if I was at the coffee. This is literally what I'm thinking.
Now,
if I was at the coffee
like,
shop,
instead of the it's the ball going down and then
yeah, because it's such an outlandish sound.
It's a great noise too.
It is. It's very satisfying, like a good crack.
Yeah,
I fucking love bowling. You look like a fellow white man.
So I'm actually pretty decent at bowling, but I don't like to be good at bowling.
I don't like to be
like good at it.
Why?
We should do that. We should get a group of us and go bowling.
Fuck yeah. I love bowling.
Yeah, we should do that.
I was in a bowling league when I was in school.
Oh my God, this question. All right, you ready?
Yeah. No.
We'll do one more and then we'll get out of here. If you can make your girlfriend's breasts as large as you wanted, but yours had to be the same size, how big would you go?
Oh my God. Jamie, I love you, darling. My girlfriend has great breasts to begin with, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing about her.
All right, good
Yep.
answer.
Mostly because I'm scared about my man titties. But
Because every guy's
I am
like, I
going-
want to grow big boobs. You're like, but you had to have the same size boobs. You're like, ooh.
see, I think that's changing. I think big boobs is a thing of the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
I think we grew up in, like, tits, man.
Yeah.
You heard about tits?
Listen, I'm not going to turn away boobs ever.
Boobs.
But if they're like no boobs and they have really nice thighs, like I'm a leg guy. Like, and
Yeah.
not even like long legs. I like
like a good leg.
like if I'm ordering chicken, I'm getting a thigh.
You know what my crazy fetish is? I like hairy armpits. And I'm
Really?
like openly like, yeah.
Really?
Fuck yeah. Yep.
Like on a woman.
Yep.
Hairy armpits.
Yep.
Not me.
Because here's what it comes back to. And I am not ashamed of this at all.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be. It's your
Because-
thing. I had a friend who was super into feet, and I just couldn't figure it out.
That's cliche. Feet is
Like
the
if,
weird thing.
like if he had a picture of feet on his phone, his girl would be like, "Yo, that's fucked up," and I'm like, "Why?" Like
oh, because she knew.
because in his mind, that's like
Tits.
a tit pic,
Right.
And I was like, "That makes sense."
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But so like I always saw it as like a fuck you to society that's actually
so
like,
it's like
yeah, because it's like I like practical anarchism,
Yeah.
you know, or practical rebellion. Like it needs like it's enough
I
like
can get behind that.
yeah, because it's like it's great that you
You're
think
going against society.
yeah, it's like if you want to change the beauty norms or whatever, then fucking like every girl I've ever met complains about shaving. Don't shave. If you all don't shave, then it's
No,
okay.
please.
Don't don't. I'm not saying it doesn't. It does not matter. It
Do what
does
makes
not
you
matter.
comfortable.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you want to shave, shave. If
Who
you
am
don't,
I? Don't tell me. Don't let
I don't
me tell you.
It
how to
doesn't
live your
matter.
life.
I'm not fucking touching anybody's body but my girlfriend's, and I'm not. Who knows what's shaved? I need to go home. I'm in so much trouble.
She's gonna be in the summertime. Everybody like looking down her shirt, not at her boobs. What was I gonna say there? I can feel that. Like I've always been attracted to like how I used to like the emo punk girls, not the ones that are like posing, obviously, but like a girl who maybe has like half their head shaved or like has a
Like a good
exorbitant
punk rock
amount
girl.
of piercings, or maybe they do their makeup just a different way as everyone else, and everyone's like, "That's fucking who does she does it because she doesn't give a fuck." Like I always kind of got it, so I can see that.
I think it's easy to not give a fuck, but it's harder to
We're
not
doing
give
that
a.
question. That one's horrible. That one's really bad.
It's easy to not give a fuck, but it's harder to not give a fuck and actually like help society.
No, I have met a lot of girls who put that image out there, and they strongly care what people think. Like they do it to almost.
Well, see, that's another thing I would say is that, like, if you're putting up pictures of your unshaved armpits onto social media, like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Why should you? Like, if you
Yeah.
literally, if you're
Look at me.
like, if your thought is like this should be normal for everybody, then why? I'm not normally doing that. You know? I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right. Well, this last one will be like a PG one. If you can have any fictional dog as your pet,
Oh man,
who would it be?
my initial one went to Clifford, the big red dog.
That'd be so impractical.
I know, and I'm a very practical man.
Yeah, that would not be. And if you're living on your mom's farm, maybe, but not in your
Yeah, but
apartment.
then that's no, he wouldn't. Fit.
Was he
We'd
live in
leave
the
him outside.
fucking lot next door? That
That's
big
exactly where he lives.
Could you just imagine a big dog?
A big red
And then
dog.
That's Tim's
mine.
dog.
I won from a weird internet game. Which
I don't even know how I feed him.
somebody goes in, some crackhead goes in at night and he eats them. That helps bring them down in Pottsville. All right. Also, listen. This is just the PSA. This is
Yes.
I'm very serious about this. If you're going to do drugs of any caliber, do them at home and be safe. Do not do drugs and go out and yell in the middle of the night.
I seen a lady doing that the other night.
It happens all the time in
was
Pottsville.
I was really sad about it. Like I wasn't even mad.
Yeah, it breaks my heart. Like, because there's nothing I can do. I can't go up to you and be, because they're just yelling at another person.
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
I see, actually, where the bank used to be, kind of by Roma. So what I do is every night, like usually on every Thursday, Brian he comes and does the wrestling podcast, and he lives like right by the coffee shop. So I was driving, and I usually turn at the red light where the bank, where the new distiller, the weed shop, I guess, is going to be, and there was a lady like on the corner just screaming at the wall, screaming and flailing, and I'm just like, and everyone like, the average person would be like, oh, look at this, and laughing at her, but I was like, man, I was like really sad, like it's made me sad.
I see it like all the time.
But you can't stop, and like at that point I'm not stepping over somebody, but like she's already screaming at a wall. Like if I went up to her, I'm putting myself or her at danger.
Yeah, that's where professionals step in, you know. And like that's because the other night at 4 a.m. I heard like some dude, it wasn't screaming, he was screeching at somebody else, and they were just screeching is the only term. Like it's not screaming. Like, hey, is it really?
No, I thought it was. Like, you ever get like a runny nose? You're like, please don't be blood.
Please don't be blood. Yeah. And it was just like, it breaks my heart because I'm like, it's such a cry for help.
Yeah.
Like literally, like
you almost hope they get picked. Like you hope the cops come.
Yeah, like I want to call the cops to be like, please,
just
like
put them in a tank for a night.
Because well, it's like, is that I walked outside the shop one time and I heard somebody yell, "It's my fucking body. I'll stick whatever I want into my arm."
And they're right.
And I'm just like,
then do it at home.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's not even so much that, because that's right too, but it's like, what's going on that you feel it's okay to yell that, and you would think the other person should respond, "You're correct," in both how you responded and what you said.
Yeah.
You know? Like, she's absolutely right. She can do whatever she wants. But to be yelling it at another person, you're missing the point of the other person. Because
when you put that in your arm, you may feel amazing at that point in time, but the effects of that, what you're doing to your friends, family, and loved ones, there's effects of that as well. Like,
and I've had family die from heroin overdose.
Yeah, I lost a lot of friends.
Yeah, and me too. So it's like the reason I brought up the family is because it's like I've seen what it did to those people.
It's horrible.
And like and I think I said this last time I was on, but my dad hugged me one time and he's like, "Thank you for never doing these drugs."
Yeah.
And I'm like, you shouldn't have to do that. It's I don't know. It's incredibly depressing. I understand where the people I understand all sides, you know, because I understand how fucking terrible life is and how easy it is to want to slip away and be numb. And we're here for 2 seconds on the cosmic clock. What does it matter? You know? But I think all those thoughts are very big picture, and they're very out there and esoteric, and you can't really hold them.
It seems like it's very far away, but it's really not.
But I mean, even think about, Anthony, I want you to have a successful life in every area. I want you to be happy. I want your marriage. I love Heidi. She's great. I want that to continue to go well for you. Like, I love this. I want this to go well. You know, like I said earlier, I wish we had more people around other people who with that mindset, you know, and I'm not putting myself above anybody, but just the idea of like, look, man, like, if your shirts were too expensive, I'm going to tell you they're too expensive, you know, and it's not in a condescending way, but being like, look, this is blah, 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 blah.
I love feedback. It helps me.
Right. And like,
and there's some things I can't control, but I got to do what I got.
Right. And
you see my microwave. We're working on it. That won't be visible soon.
Yeah, if all things go according to plan, I'm going to steal his microwave, then it won't be seen anymore.
One day you're going to turn on to one of the episodes and you're like, holy crap, there's a different look here.
Yeah, don't spoil too much. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll be like, we're in a brand new location.
Is this where? Is this? You got your new pot? I was going to call it Pottstown. So this is, I'm sorry I keep going off on stuff, but every time I hear a band come to the area from outside of the area who like bring up that there's Pottstown, I instantly like lose interest in them because I'm like, that means that your onstage banter is so terrible that you're just like, there's another town an hour and a half away that with a name that's kind of close.
Yeah.
Do you like our shitty band? And that mostly comes from, I saw this one band at, oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of it. The bar that Hucklebucks. And this was a while ago. And they were like super, like they were clearly drunk. I won't say they were super drunk. That they were clearly drunk and they were very full of themselves of like, look how cool we are on this half-a-foot stage, you know? And like I've played that half-a-foot stage
in a bar where
great.
The bathroom smells awful.
Dude, every bar in this great land.
Hucklebucks is on a new level.
No, I didn't mean Hucklebucks. Fuck.
I love Hucklebucks. I love going to Hucklebucks.
No.
I just hate peeing in Hucklebucks.
What's the bar that closed down? They don't have a
Trippin' Billy.
Trippin' Billy's. Yep. So that it was there that I saw that band. Dude, every bathroom is gross in every bar in this here land. Yeah.
You have to hold your breath for Hucklebuck though. You're like, but that's a charm of it. Like it's kind of like the CBGB. Like,
yeah. Oh, I couldn't imagine going to that bathroom.
Ooh,
You'd like,
I'd piss myself first.
yeah, you
Have you ever
probably
seen the
wanna-
movie? It's really with Alan
No.
Rickman. It's fantastic.
about like CBG.
Yeah, I'm actually buying it this paycheck. It's like,
Oh, really?
It's on Amazon for
Is
like
it new?
$6. No, it was like one of his last movies, but he filmed it and then died.
Oh,
Not during it, but
Right.
but it's really good. Like
what's it called?
CBGB.
Just
It's like
CBGB?
the history of the band and like how like the Rolling Stones and all these bands like start playing there and he started managing them.
Right.
It's awesome.
That's
a really
cool.
good movie.
And now they banned Green Day.
Did they?
I believe so. I
have to
could
look
be
it up.
wrong, but I'm pretty sure they blacklisted. I don't know if it still stands, but when Green Day first,
Well,
like,
it's not even a club anymore.
oh well, right, then
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely doesn't. But it
For what they do.
well, it was more of like when they got mainstream. Now, like, I don't think anyone in the punk scene really cares about Green Day.
Yeah.
like they're
I'm going to see them. I'm excited.
Are you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fine. Like,
It's
go
Green,
have fun.
Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer and Hershey.
Nice. See, that's a good time.
I'm pumped. So excited.
See, those are all different. Like those are people who've transcended their genre.
Yeah.
and they're their own thing.
So we're gonna end with one thing here. I want you to pick a poem, and I want you to read it, and that's how we're gonna close out. And then as soon as you're done, we're just gonna say goodbye and cut it. Sound good?
Sounds good, buddy.
And then obviously, if you like it, hit the links below, and then you can always go see Tim and get a London Fog.
London Fog. That's where you're gonna get. I'll remember it, and I'll bring you in. Let's do. I have one picked, but I just wanted to
Double check if that's the one you want it.
I'll do this one. This is called On Being One. The blood fell from Jesus' side and watered the land. The Buddha chuckled as Krishna danced, and they sang the same song. We thought it was something transcendental, but it was just what's before our eyes. Pleasure and pain swinging before us, mistaking one for the other. We come together as the sky tells a story. 1,000 different images pass before our eyes as they're squeezed tight like our bodies intertwined. And what if we forgot about being two and focused on being one? As a butterfly emerges reborn, so shall we shine gloriously as an angelic choir sings punk songs in some basement in New Jersey. Our friends that have crossed the river ahead of us will meet again on the footpath back to our house. It's a black tie gala and I forgot my shoes. Take each toe and wash them clean. Wash the ash from your palms from the campfire we sat around last night, singing songs, drinking drinks, passing bowls as the embers popped and smoke arose, soothing the anger of the gods that dwell inside our stomachs. The water is calm and the sailors are fast asleep. Nights like these make life worth living.
That's awesome lyrics too, even just not poems. I love it, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, well that'll do it. Thank you guys so much. And you'll definitely see Tim on again. He's going to be a regular.
I love it.
All right, love you, brother.
You too, man.
All right, that'll do it. See you guys later.
See you.
Here's some more Churches and Trains.
Dude. Oh my God.
And I just wanna get off of the floor. And I just wanna get off of the floor. 'Cause I still can't sleep without tired of sleeping on this floor.